Kakashi's story is a story of pain, loss, and finding yourself once again. You see, Kakashi, from a very young age, understood the cost of war, of honor, of failure. He was once an idealistic young boy who faced the harsh reality of dishonor that culminated in the loss of his father. This scarred him, and he carried these scars with him well into his time as a Genin, into his time as a member of Team Minato, and ultimately until the loss of his friends Obito and Rin. These two deaths, well, one death, only compounded upon him. He lost track of the meaning and value of life, which led him down a very dark path as a member of the Anbu, down a route of desensitization in an unhealthy way of coping. Death couldn't hurt anymore if you killed so much that life had no meaning. Minato sought to break Kakashi from this path, but in the end, the death of Minato and Kushina left Kakashi in a dark pit with no light. This lasted until Hiruzen pulled him out of the Anbu, seeking to give him a new lease on life. But Kakashi wasn't the only person to ever suffer loss. This is a story about two people, very much in need of love, finding each other, and learning that loneliness can be cured through the genuine care of another person. This is the tale of Kakashi raising Naruto. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check if you are subscribed. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. That night was fresh in his mind. He'd always thought of it. Kakashi couldn't stop thinking about it. It was his new dwelling place in his own mind. That cold blackness in the sky, the sudden flashes, screams, and roars. The inability to do anything. Helplessness. That's what it was. As Kakashi had been dealing with the loss of Obito, he'd thrown himself into his work. Rin, as overzealous as ever, continued to find herself the damsel in distress. She was a sweet girl with a fiery heart who wanted nothing more than to serve her village. She possessed the will of fire to a ludicrous degree, possessing bravery that bordered the line between heroism and stupidity. This caused Kakashi no end of trouble. He had promised Obito, sworn to him, that he'd protect Rin. No matter what, he'd protect her. And he did, until that one day. Once more, Kakashi and Rin were sent behind enemy lines, and just as before, Rin had been captured. Unlike other times though, she was indeed worse for wear. When Kakashi found her, she was unconscious. There was blood, and she looked sick. They had done something to her. What it was, he couldn't be sure, but it made his blood boil. Despite the fact that their mission had not yet been completed, Kakashi opted to abort. Rin wasn't looking good, and he had long since learned that what was most important was the health of your team. Kakashi might have failed the mission if he tried to do it alone. It was going to take a lot of jury rigging just to make it work. It was truly a two-man mission, as the mission required two people to perform a certain action at the same time, something that would have been difficult to do with only one. By the looks of Rin though, her pale complexion, the appearance of blood and wounds, sweat from strain and stress, he knew she likely couldn't go on. The best course of action was swift extraction. If the mission would fail either way, he'd rather it fail with no loss of life, rather than with the needless death of others. And in this way, he would save the one he promised Obito he would protect. So Kakashi rushed off, carrying Rin over his shoulder. Eventually, she managed to come to. She was sore, a little sick, but she quickly regained her ability to move. She insisted that they complete their mission, but considering that Kakashi's Sharingan was picking up some strange signals from her, a second chakra he couldn't pinpoint, he wanted to get her out of there. He had no idea what those shinobi had done to her, but if there were indeed two lives here, one was hers and the other was inside of her, Kakashi had to prioritize extraction. The two of them ran for quite some time before the Kirinin realized she was gone. Despite their head start, it didn't take long for the others to catch up. Rin was still slow due to whatever traumatic experience she had to endure. Eventually, they caught up with them and Kakashi had to fight them off. Rin was in no position to fight, so he commanded her to stay behind him. Raising his forehead protector to expose the Sharingan given to him by Obito, he knew that there was no better time to use it. Obito had given this to him with a promise. In exchange for Kakashi vowing to protect Rin, Obito gave Kakashi this eye. But even with his great foresight, he couldn't have known what was coming next. As he rushed forward with his Chidori, Rin, without warning, threw herself in the way. Kakashi had no time to stop. By the time he'd perceived and begun evasive maneuvers, he'd already pierced her heart. Everything after that was a blur. Kakashi couldn't remember what happened. All he knew was that everyone was dead, and he walked home with a Mangekyo Sharingan. To this day, Kakashi questioned why she did that. He came to realize that she was under a seal. She couldn't end her own life or talk about it. but she had been forced to become the Jinchuriki of the Three Tails against her will. This is why he picked up a second chakra from her. But why did she need to kill herself? If they had known, they could have sealed the Three Tails properly without her needing to die. Maybe she knew something he didn't. Whatever it was, she was dead, and she forced Kakashi to be the one to kill her. As if his trauma wasn't enough already. She had scarred him for life once more. After this, Kakashi threw himself into his work, becoming more and more ruthless. People called him a friend killer, saying that he was just like the Uchiha, that he had stolen their Sharingan, and he had further killed Rin to awaken his Mangekyo in some twisted attempt to include himself into the curse of the Uchiha. Kakashi never explained it to them. He never defended himself. After all, he already felt responsible, and maybe this was his own way of trying to punish himself by letting others slander him. He failed to protect Rin and had brought dishonor to his name, something he had explained to Minato during one of their talks. Minato heard the word dishonor and saw the look in his student's eye. While he never showed it visibly, Minato was about to descend into panic. For certain, if he didn't do something, Kakashi might go the path of his father and end his own life. That's why Minato gave him a special mission. He wanted to restore the meaning of life to Kakashi by letting him trail Kushina. Kushina, being pregnant, was in that lovely liminal space between conception and birth, where life and its beginnings were laid bare. A mysterious, miraculous time where the life of something innocent was about to be born. This wasn't just the origin of new life, but also the origin of all people currently living. Nobody remembered anything before a certain time in their life, but this time was special. The moments when you were in your mother's womb. It was a time celebrated, surrounded by love. He wanted Kakashi to understand that though things were bleak now, the same love, the same value, the same specialness that the unborn baby was being treated with was what Kakashi deserved. Kakashi was surrounded by love, and he needed to allow himself to be open to it, but the fear of loss had closed him off. Kakashi wouldn't allow himself to open up, and the one time Minato told him to give it a shot, Kakashi was once more scarred. Convinced that life deserved a fifth shot, Kakashi opened his heart again. But that so happened to be the day of Naruto's birth, and I'm sure you all remember what happened. Kakashi certainly did. The day the Nine Tails escaped from Kushina. The day Minato died. The darkest day in Konoha's history. The most tragic moment in the history of the village just so happened to be the day Kakashi let his defenses down once again. Now he might never recover. He fought hard, seeking to find Minato and Kushina, to find the baby if it yet lived, to give his very life in defense of the ones he cared for. But alas, village law, orders passed on from Hiruzen, who was acting in place of Minato until Minato could return, had forbidden him from taking place in the battle for the village, despite him being one of the most capable of stopping the beast. The same was true of the Uchiha. They had the best chance of stopping it, but failure to trust them led to the destruction of nearly everything. And in the end, the Uchiha were still blamed, despite never actually getting a fair shake. With the death of the Hokage, and the death of the woman Kakashi had taken on as a mother figure, Kakashi's heart was like, no, I'm done, and checked out permanently. He went back to his old habits of killing the feeling by killing everything he could to erase the depression. He put himself into a state of inability to care. But you see, Hiruzen was a wise man, and he understood that Kakashi's brutality was not coming from a place of someone without a heart, but from a place of someone who did have a heart. Kakashi was trying to kill his heart. Most of the time in the Anbu, they brought on people who had no heart. But Kakashi was one of the few brought on who managed to sneak his heart past customs, and was now trying to kill it in order to fit the mold and end his own pain. But Hiruzen refused to let him do this, which is why he pulled him back from active duty for a while. Instead, he called him into his office, and that's where Kakashi was now. "What orders do you have for me?" Kakashi asked, ready to return to killing and serving the village the best he could. "I have a special kind of order. One that doesn't require you leaving the village." Kakashi already seemed skeptical. What kind of mission could be important and be done within the village? Unless, of course, there was secret dissent behind the scenes and Hiruzen needed someone assassinated. The longer he thought on this, the more unlikely he felt it was. Hiruzen wasn't that kind of man. Even when he found out that Danzo was trying to have him killed, instead of killing Danzo in return, he just let him go, without even a slap on the wrist. Hiruzen was too lenient, and so it seemed unlikely that anything he was asked to do here would change the current course of the village. "What are your orders?" Kakashi asked. "What I want you to do is watch a very special person for me. Guard them, if you will." Kakashi was intrigued. "Who will I be guarding? Is the daimyo coming?" Hiruzen shook his head. "No. I want you to watch over Naruto." Kakashi's entire demeanor shuts down immediately. "No," he said. Hiruzen raised a brow. "No? Are you refusing an order from your commanding officer?" Sir, with all due respect, my abilities are beyond simple babysitting. Ask someone else to do it. Sadly, I cannot. Naruto is young, inexperienced, and lacks the power to protect himself. And because of that, a fear has arisen that he might come under the target of others. I'm certain that you're familiar with the events of the Hyuga affair. Kakashi nodded. The heiress of the Hyuga clan, Hinata, was targeted by emissaries of the village hidden in the clouds. Hiyashi killed the offending shinobi attempting to escape with his daughter, and in return, Kumo asked for blood. Hizashi offered his life up to protect his brother. Hiruzen seemed to grow a bit distracted as he thought deeply on his failures. Yep, that's the one, he said simply, trying to push his own self-consciousness from his mind. Well, anyway, you realize the danger that could be posed to Naruto. The Nine-Tails is one of, if not the most powerful tailed beast in the world. Any village would love to get their hands on the Nine-Tails' power and take it for themselves. We cannot allow that. To that end, I'm asking that you please watch Naruto should anyone ever come for him. Kakashi seemed nervous in his expression, and Hiruzen understood why. Deep down, Naruto represented all of the pain and suffering that Kakashi had gone through, and was going to be a continual reminder of everything he had lost. As mean as it sounded, Hiruzen was trying his best to put Kakashi into this position. You see, Hiruzen knew that if he forced Kakashi back into it, Kakashi would be faced with his own pain every day, and it would be unpleasant. But despite that, it offered him a chance forward. If Kakashi wished to really complete his mission, he would need to accept that things were different now. Things had changed, and Kakashi had to change too. If he refused, it would be unhealthy. He needed to accept that his friends were gone, but had no reason to close off his heart forever, to enter a self-destructive cycle of killing and being killed just to numb the pain. I know you can do this, Kakashi, Hiruzen said. Don't let me down. Kakashi looked down for a moment and then offered a bit of a bow to accept the mission. As you wish, he said. Kakashi then left the Hokage's office and began his search for the person he was supposed to watch. He eventually found him, Naruto Uzumaki, son of Kushina and Minato, though he could never know that. Naruto could never know the circumstances of his own birth, or who his parents really were, for fear of what he might become. Naruto was a loose cannon, and his power could and would destroy the village if nobody kept a tight lid on it. So maybe there was another reason why Kakashi was chosen for this. Kakashi would not let anyone reveal the truth to him. Like it or not, Naruto was now Kakashi's responsibility, and if Kakashi didn't want to be blamed for the total destruction of the village, he needed to stay on his toes. Maybe Hiruzen was right to choose Kakashi. After all, if anyone could protect Naruto, it was him. And so, Kakashi would sort of just hang outside on the opposite roof, keeping his eye on Naruto. For the most part, Naruto wasn't getting in any trouble. Looking in, he saw the boy doing his own thing, such as looking through his toy box for anything he might wish to play with. He tended to play quite a bit. This kept going for quite some time. Kakashi happened to notice how alone Naruto always seemed to be. There were no friends coming to visit him or anything. At first, Kakashi assumed that Naruto didn't really mind, but then a certain night came where a heavy downpour and thunderstorm came over Konoha. It wasn't a very good night for Kakashi, as he had to remain on that rooftop to keep a watch on Naruto. The most he got was a waterproof hooded cloak. He remained in the elements. Despite this, he was a trooper. He didn't complain. His job wasn't to complain. It was to faithfully carry out the mission. Kakashi sat there as the thunder overhead roared across the black skies at midnight. Despite the time, Naruto was still awake. Normally, he'd be asleep by this time, but the young boy kept his eyes glued to the window from his bed. There was a flash of lightning striking very close by. Kakashi didn't flinch though. Loud sounds and close calls were common on the battlefield, but Naruto, on the other hand, was a different sort. The sound and flash, despite Naruto being safe, caused him to fall out of bed backwards. For a second, Kakashi almost contemplated going over there for fear that he could have broken his neck, but he saw movement, insinuating that Naruto was okay. He continued watching and found that Naruto was now frantically searching through his toy box. Coming back to the bed, he covered himself in a blanket and held tightly to his chest an old doll that Hiruzen had brought to him. That doll was secretly a hand-me-down from Kushina's time as a child, something that they had collected when Minato and Kushina had passed away. Hiruzen had often brought toys to Naruto that his parents used to own in hopes that they would give him some sort of connection. Despite this doll being considered a girl's toy, Naruto really seemed to love it. Every so often, as it looked like Naruto might be close to crying, Kakashi seemed to notice that Naruto would sniff the doll. If he didn't know any better, he might assume one of three things. 1, the doll was scented. 2, Naruto was just weird. Or 3, and most likely considering the age of the doll and who owned it previously, Naruto was attempting to bring himself comfort subconsciously, and the doll would likely have the scent of Kushina on it. Likely, Naruto deep down knew that this doll was special, and due to this, he held it close as a treasure to him for times of comfort. It was at about 3 a.m. the storm finally passed, and by this point, Naruto already seemed to be half asleep. His head bobbing, eventually he collapsed forward in bed, falling asleep. Kakashi let out a sigh. Naruto was probably safe right now. He thought a bit about Naruto and what he had to go through, and began to wonder if Minato knew Naruto would suffer when he sealed the Nine Tails into him. As the days and months passed by, Kakashi continued to follow Naruto, even to the academy. There were kids there, but none seemed to want anything to do with him. Kakashi found it strange. As per the order of Hiruzen, none of these kids were supposed to know that Naruto was the Nine Tails Jinchuriki, so why was he being treated this way? Possibly because parents had told their kids, or was it that Naruto simply didn't want to make friends, or even couldn't? Considering how much time Naruto spent sitting on the swing by himself, Kakashi assumed it was not Naruto's fault. He seemed to try being outgoing, but nobody really seemed to show an interest in him, save for one girl, the heiress of the Hyuga clan's main branch, Hinata Hyuga. The reason being how Naruto had at one time rescued her from the hands of bullies. Naruto didn't have friends, but this didn't mean he wasn't a kind boy deep down. Seeing bullies make fun of her Byakugan, Naruto was quick to intervene, even getting beaten up. Despite that, she said nothing, and Naruto said nothing either. He literally stopped them from bullying her for no other reason than the kindness of his heart. It was in this way that Kakashi realized how similar to Minato Naruto truly was. It was awe-inspiring, to say the least. But why was it that the little Hyuga girl remained so distant? It was obvious that she liked him and wanted to be his friend, so why hide? Was she too nervous? Was she too shy? Kakashi began to question why he was getting so involved in schoolyard politics. He assumed that the boring nature of this job had left his mind craving literally anything to break the monotony, and so it seemed he had begun to treat this like some sort of baby soap opera. Kakashi couldn't help but get drawn in by the drama. After all, it seemed like such a cleaner version of his favorite novels. He loved it, but not everything was going to remain boring forever. One day, on his way home from school, Naruto would stumble into something that shouldn't have happened. Now, it wasn't Naruto's fault what happened to him, but nobody else would see it that way, and the actions taken on this particular day were the remnants of the toxic hatred that couldn't simply be defeated by an order from the Hokage. It was a day Kakashi would never forget, because it was the end of something old and the beginning of something new. As Naruto was walking home one day, he heard a voice call out to him. Stopping, he looked around and began to follow the voice down some random alleyway. What's he doing? Kakashi wondered. As Naruto traveled down that alleyway, there was a sudden ruckus that began. Kakashi began to wonder what had happened. Had he run into a dog? Some rabid animal? Perhaps a pit bull trained for fighting and abandoned? Kakashi rushed over with his kunai ready, prepared to kill whatever animal could be assaulting the boy. That was until he saw not the eyes of some beast, but the hateful eyes of men. A group of men had taken it upon themselves to try and rid Konoha of the greatest threat that ever came upon it, Naruto. Kakashi saw one of them pull a knife from behind their back. "Hey!" he shouted, drawing their attention as he threw a shuriken, knocking the knife from the man's hand. The group of men, terrified at seeing a real Anbu agent, turned tail and ran, making their way out of the alley in the opposite direction before promptly scattering. There were so many of them. They knew that by scattering, Kakashi would be unable to catch all of them. They'd be wrong about that, as Kakashi immediately summoned shadow clones to give chase. Each of the men was brought to justice, which was a good thing, but all the same, they had really messed up Naruto. Kakashi looked down to see Naruto laying among the trash and garbage, his body torn and bloody, bruised from the attack. He lay in a puddle of water among the refuse of the trash cans as if his life were meaningless, as if his existence meant nothing. Kakashi's anger was kindled against the people of the village in this moment. This boy wasn't some monster, but a mere child who didn't understand why nobody loved him. "Is something wrong with me?" Naruto had often questioned. "Did I do something wrong? Am I ugly? Is it because I have yellow hair?" Naruto questioned all of these things in the past and had done so much to change their minds. This Kakashi stood witness to. Naruto had been sure to brush his teeth, to shower good, to comb his hair and dress as best he could. There was even a woman across the street from his apartment that he decided to bring flowers to in hopes of making a friend. Perhaps due to that woman's age, Naruto was hoping that she could take the place of a mother. Perhaps this was Naruto's pitch at being adopted. Perhaps Naruto were simply auditioning to prove he could be a good son. After all, who could deny the charm of a suave 5-year-old with flowers? It was adorable. But upon presenting his best to the woman, she swatted the flowers away, tossing them as if they were some sort of offense to her. Naruto's heart shattered when he saw that. All the while, Kakashi was watching. She cursed him, spat upon him, told him that it would have been better if he'd never been born. By the looks of those around him, who had gathered to watch him fail at seeking a friend, they all judged him, saying that he was harassing the woman because he was a perverted little demon. After that, Naruto never tried to befriend an adult again, and now they'd taken it a step too far. The young boy who had sought only to be accepted and loved now lay broken in the mud and water, his wounds dirtied by the garbage around. Nobody cared. He could be dying here, and the only ones who would know would be Kakashi and the angels that came to scoop up his little soul. No, Kakashi wouldn't let it end here. This was his job. This was his mission. Screw those people. Screw the evil hearts around. Perhaps they had let the pain caused by the Nine-Tails corrupt them, and if they felt pain, maybe that was okay. But what wasn't okay was for them to treat Naruto this way. A mere child in emotional and now physical pain, left to die due to their neglect and anger that he did not deserve. Kakashi pulled Naruto up from the ground, pulling the boy's limp body into his embrace. Turning around, he leapt from the scene, heading toward the only place he knew Naruto could rest without feeling the ire-filled gaze of those around him. Home. Entering the apartment, he laid the boy down upon the bed and looked him over. He was wounded. His face was bloody and bruised by the fists of hatred. Kakashi couldn't leave it like this. He knew that if he were not careful, infection would set in and it could lead to Naruto's untimely passing. But Kakashi had some medical skill. Learning the basics of field medicine from Rin during their time under Minato, Kakashi put his skills to work, grabbing gauze, bandages, and rags. He filled the bowl with warm water and prepared to use it on Naruto. But the moment he re-entered the room, he saw Naruto was no longer on the bed. He was in the corner, clutching tight the doll he'd often used for comfort. He heard sniffling and saw tears. "Please, don't kill me," Naruto said, his big blue eyes filled with pleading. "I don't know what I did, but I'm sorry. Please, I don't want to die." Kakashi knelt down and put his things on the ground. "I'm not going to hurt you," he said. But this obviously didn't get through to Naruto. Kakashi crawled a bit closer to the boy, only to see him shaking violently with fear. Kakashi reached out his hand to calm Naruto, but Naruto probably saw this like some claw of a monster. Kakashi pulled his hand away from Naruto. "I'm not here to hurt you," Kakashi said. "Then why are you wearing a ski mask?" Naruto said. "You look like a murderer." Kakashi couldn't argue with that. He did look like a murderer, but maybe that's because he was. Kakashi, during his time in the Anbu, had killed many people. A lot of people who had been a threat, but were neutralized, seeking quarter. Kakashi ended their lives as easily as a man snuffing out the flame of a candle. Kakashi was a murderer, so Naruto's guess was right. But all the same, Kakashi was not here to kill him. He was here to protect the boy. He wanted to bring Naruto peace and to calm him. So Kakashi reached up with his gloved hand and gripped the mask around his face. He slowly pulled it down to expose his visage. "Maybe this is better?" he asked, showing his gentle smile. Naruto looked at it out of the corner of his eye. Kakashi held out his hand in a non-threatening way. "Don't worry, I wish to help you." It was clear that Naruto had trust issues, and he had every right to, but this was something Naruto needed, so Kakashi hoped Naruto would take it, else Kakashi might have to sedate Naruto to clean his wounds. He really didn't want to have to do that. Naruto had been through so much, and despite how young he was, Kakashi feared that any more terror might cause the boy to have a heart attack. His heart was already pounding so fast that Kakashi's Sharingan could see in it his chakra. Naruto looked at Kakashi's exposed face, and then down at his hand. He noticed the supplies that Kakashi had. He reached out his hand and took it. Kakashi was happy. "Don't be afraid, Naruto. You'll be okay." Sitting Naruto up on his bed, Kakashi began to examine him for wounds. Finding every laceration, he cleaned it off with water to remove any dirt or grime before applying alcohol. It wasn't pleasant for Naruto, who seemed to choke back tears. "You're being very brave," Kakashi said. Thankfully, none of the lacerations were deep enough to merit stitches. Once he had Naruto all cleaned up, he got Naruto a new outfit and gave him privacy to change into it. "Are you okay?" Kakashi asked. He checked Naruto's pupils for dilation. Thankfully, it seemed he did not have a concussion. "You okay?" Kakashi asked again. Naruto nodded slowly. "Just sleepy," he said with a bit of a slur. "I bet you are. You've had a very tiring day." Naruto looked over at Kakashi for a moment. "Who are you?" he asked. It was a simple, flat question. Kakashi remembered that he never really did introduce himself. "My name is Kakashi. Kakashi Hatake. I'm an Anbu agent, sent here to protect you." "To protect me?" Naruto asked. Kakashi knew he couldn't really explain it to him, but he knew the boy would seek some sort of answer, so Kakashi gave it to him, even if it was a little vague. Mr. Hiruzen told me you were always alone, and he said he was afraid that you'd get into trouble. He told me to watch you and make sure you were okay. Are you okay? Naruto nodded. Kakashi smiled and then raised his mask. Then my job here is done. He stood and ready to leave. Before he could go, Naruto reached out. Wait. Kakashi looked back. Yes? Where are you going? Naruto asked. Back to my post. Please, don't leave me, he said. Kakashi stopped, caught a little off guard. You don't have to worry. I won't be far. I'll always be nearby to protect you. Please, I don't want to be alone again, Naruto said as new tears seemed to take up residence in the corners of his eye. Are you afraid that those men will come back? You don't have to be. I caught them. No, I'm not afraid of that, Naruto said. Then what are you scared of? I don't want to go back to being alone. Not tonight. Please, don't go. He was slowly getting more and more worked up. He sounded like one more sentence might cause him to burst into tears. Kakashi looked down upon him with compassion. His heart now demanded that he do as the boy pleaded. After all, he was Kakashi's charge, and Kakashi was here to serve him. If Naruto begged him to stay with him, how could Kakashi refuse? He was here to look after the well-being of the boy, and perhaps that extended beyond the physical limitations and into the emotional ones. Pulling his mask down, he knelt by the bed again. All right, I'll stay over for the night, just to make sure you're comfortable. But tomorrow morning, I need to go, okay? Deal? Naruto nodded. Deal. During this time, Kakashi remained nearby as Naruto rested. He closed the blinds as the overcast skies descended into a depressing gray, the day coming to an end, night rolling in. Are you hungry, Naruto? Kakashi asked. Naruto shook his head. Oh, come now, Kakashi said. You can't be like that. You gotta eat. If you don't eat, you'll get sick. So tell me, if there was anything you'd like to eat right now, what would it be? I want ramen. Shin black. Bone broth. Kakashi chuckled. Awfully specific for someone not hungry. Naruto offered a smile. Kakashi went and made 2 bowls of ramen, bringing one to Naruto and keeping the other for himself. They ate together and exchanged stories. Naruto would pull out a journal that contained all the dreams he could remember upon waking up. Quite a few were bad dreams. One saw him trapped in a void of liminal spaces, each room the size of a warehouse. Another dream saw him being chased by a monster through the village at night, only for his legs to keep going out from under him, or his speed being incredibly decreased. Sometimes both. A couple dreams saw him falling far distances from really high, or being smothered by something, like being buried alive. But bad dreams weren't the only ones Naruto had. Sometimes he had dreams where he was a superhero. This dream was recurring, and it was the dream Naruto was most excited about Kakashi reading about. It saw him as some superpowered ninja with the ability to fly and shoot infinitely regenerating shuriken that were magical and always hit whatever they were aiming for. He said that he always fought a villain that held the village captive in fear, and that he always defeated it, and everyone would cheer his name and celebrate. He said it was his favorite dream, besides the one on the next page. Kakashi flipped the page and read about it. This dream was also recurring, though it seemed to be less frequent compared to the others. In this dream, he dreamed that he was in the arms of someone very special to him, who he could only assume was his mother. She would rock him back and forth and smother him with hugs. Kakashi was no psychologist, but it seemed a recurring theme of Naruto's dreams was loneliness and the desire to be loved. And why wouldn't it be? Naruto was all alone. These dreams broke Kakashi's heart. As the night passed, he looked at Naruto as the boy slept soundly, the doll clenched close in his arms. Kakashi stayed close that night, not leaving the side of the bed until the sun rose. As per their deal, Kakashi knew he could now leave. Looking over at Naruto's face one more time to make sure he was okay, he determined that Naruto's wounds would heal all by themselves. Standing up, Kakashi prepared to head home to grab a little rest before his next shift started, but the strangest feeling took hold of him as he grabbed the door to the apartment. A sort of sadness, a feeling of sorrow. So Kakashi walked back in for a moment and grabbed a piece of paper. Dear Naruto, he wrote, I had so much fun sleeping over with you. You're a really cool dude. Maybe one day we can do it again. If so, I'll be sure to bring a new brand of ramen that I'm sure you'll love. I'll also bring some games and movies to enjoy. I'll be sure to call every once in a while and we'll write you often. He then signed it, your friend, Kakashi. He left this on the refrigerator for Naruto to read, and then he headed home. The next few days went swell. Naruto had become more aware, keeping his eyes out for Kakashi. And now that he knew he was always watching him, he would always get real close to the window and make funny faces toward the other roof. This coaxed a chuckle or two out of Kakashi. He would wave at Kakashi and Kakashi would wave back. Maybe it would blow his cover a little, but how could he not wave at Naruto? All the while, below, Hiruzen was watching with a smile. Everything was going according to plan. Kakashi began doing more than just watching Naruto. He began to hang out with him quite a bit. They'd hang around, watch movies, play games, and just enjoy each other's company. This had a profound impact on Naruto's life. Now that he always had his guardian angel around, he knew that he'd be safe, and due to having one true good friend, he no longer seemed to be upset when others didn't want to be his friend. Adults would snap at him, but Naruto let it roll off his back. He didn't have to worry about what others thought. Naruto knew now that his life had value, it had meaning, and there would be someone very sad if he were to be gone. So whenever the cruel villagers told him his life was meaningless and that it would be better if he'd never been born, he would simply smile and tell them to kindly go piss themselves. Naruto's life was worthwhile. Someone cared about it, and so it was better that he'd been born. His existence seemed to help somebody with a troubled past. Naruto had asked in the past about Kakashi's history, but Kakashi always kept a tight lid on it, and very rarely talked about it. Naruto knew so very little about his best friend, but that was okay. He didn't need to know about him. All he needed to know was that he was happy to have him now, and Naruto doubted very seriously that anything Kakashi could have done in the past could change his mind. Naruto was that desperate for love, or perhaps just that loyal. Either way, Naruto didn't question Kakashi's past. All he knew was that Kakashi had lost all of his friends and was lonely now too, and that was sad. But something that Naruto had always thought about was that if every lonely person in the world, and every person desperate for love, attention, and a good friend who would appreciate them were to get together in one place, would loneliness not cease to exist? If two people were lonely, then they should comfort one another. In doing so, they would no longer be lonely, which was apparently what Naruto and Kakashi were doing with each other. Naruto was pleased to have a friend like Kakashi, someone like an uncle, like an older brother. While Naruto didn't have a mom or dad, he did have Kakashi, and he had Hiruzen. Slowly, little by little, Naruto was filling out his family tree, and his mood had soared to new heights, to places it had never been before. That night, Kakashi came to visit Naruto. It had become a bit of a habit for Kakashi to simply forego the rooftop across from Naruto and instead simply have a sleepover. Hiruzen had approved of such a thing, saying it would be good for both of them on various levels, and it would also help Kakashi keep a closer eye on him. To that end, during the day before his arrival, Kakashi had done something he'd rarely done before, and had bought himself a gaming console. Kakashi was not much of a gamer. He didn't care for video games. When your life was continually war to no end, there was no need for action. Instead, you tended to try and drown your sorrows and trauma in ways of relaxing, preferably the kind that didn't force you to fall asleep. That's why Kakashi had become a bit of a bibliophile. He enjoyed reading, and the best things he had ever read were the works of a man named Jiraiya. Though the novels were a bit spicy and went over quite a few things that no kid should ever read, it also included some other story elements that Kakashi found to be hilarious. To that end, while he had read many books, the only books he ever seemed to read continuously, over and over on loop, were the Icha novels. It seemed as though these novels were built for someone like Kakashi, as the writer seemed to understand the need for an escape, especially when the past continued to crawl up from the grave you kept trying to bury it in. It acknowledged the idea of being a shinobi, but it gave newer context as the book insinuated being a shinobi wasn't always about fighting. It was also about finding oneself. It focused on the ninja way. That was Kakashi's preferred form of entertainment, but he knew he couldn't share that with Naruto. Naruto was still a bit too young to know the kinds of things that happened in that book, so he thought of something else, better to do with him. That's where this console he was now carrying came into play. A nice racing game like Hashirama Card, or Super Minato 64, or Tobirama Party 3 would be a blast. And the idea of leaving the console with Naruto for him to enjoy also brought a smile to Kakashi's face. This was mostly for Naruto anyway. Entering the apartment of Naruto, he surprised the boy with the new gaming console, to which Naruto's eyes lit up at the prospect of all the fun they would have. And so, with Naruto nearby giving moral support, mostly because he wasn't entirely sure how to hook such a system up, Kakashi did most of the technical stuff. But once the system was in, they fired it up. Despite Naruto not really playing video games very much, he showed himself very capable and seemed to win every match. This surprised Kakashi, whose reaction time was even aided by the Sharingan in at least one race. Naruto just seemed to have frame-perfect movements, leading to Kakashi's suspicion that Naruto had played this before. But the true answer was simply that Naruto was good at video games, and Kakashi was not. Kakashi might have had the Sharingan, but that didn't mean his body could react to everything he saw. The simple truth was Kakashi needed to get good if he wanted to win. After playing almost all night long, Kakashi stretched and yawned. Well, that was fun. I think it's time for bed now. Oh, come on, one more game? Naruto asked. Kakashi chuckled and ruffled Naruto's hair. Sorry, kiddo, I'm beat, both in and out of the game. I think we can call it for now. But hey, you can play as much as you want tomorrow. I'll leave the console here when I leave. That way, we can have more fun the next time I stay. When will you come back? Naruto asked. Tomorrow? Kakashi shook his head. No, tomorrow will be someone else's turn at guard duty. They'll be outside the window where I used to be, but I'll be back the day after tomorrow. Sound good? Naruto seemed a little sad. Tenzo's nice, but he's not as friendly as you. Kakashi offered a new smile. Tenzo's a good guy. He's a part of my team. I'm glad he's offered to cover my shift tomorrow. I have chores that I gotta do back at my house, but hey, it's only 48 hours. Less if you consider that I'll get here sooner. So probably closer to like 42 hours from now. So set a timer or something. It'll help the time go faster. Not to mention you have my phone number. You can always text if you get lonely. Can't promise I'll respond right away, but I'll text back when I get the chance. Okay, Naruto said, a bit of sadness in his voice. This brought a bittersweet air to the night. Kakashi brushed his teeth beside Naruto, who did the same. He then helped Naruto get into bed. There, he covered Naruto up. Naruto seemed a little down in the dumps. Will you still be here tomorrow when I wake up? Kakashi shook his head. Probably not. I gotta get a head start on the day. Then it's goodbye, I guess. Kakashi grabbed the doll Naruto seemed to favor. Holding it in his hands, he examined it. In the hem of its skirt, the letters KU were stitched in. What did you name this little doll? Ku, Naruto said, apparently sounding out the letters. KU as if they weren't initials. Ku, huh? That's a very cute name. She's very special to you. Yeah, I love all my toys, but she's the one that brings me the most comfort, he said. Why? Kakashi asked. I don't know, Naruto said. Kakashi knew why though, and it brought a smile to his face. It had been some time since he had thought about Kushina, but the way he viewed her like a mother and was now so close to Naruto, it truly did solidify their bond as brotherly. Well, this doll is very special indeed, he said as he handed it over to Naruto. Naruto hugged it tightly as Kakashi tucked him in. Maybe I'll wake you up tomorrow so we can say goodbye before I go. Would you like that? Naruto nodded. Kakashi pushed some of the messy hair out of Naruto's face. Then that's what I'll do. Good night, Naruto. Naruto let off a small smile, just like that of the Mona Lisa. Barely noticeable, quite melancholic, yet proof of a happiness that had taken root in spite of the blue spirit he was now taking on. Good night, big brother. I love you. It felt as though an arrow went right through Kakashi's heart when Naruto said that. Kakashi leaned in, kissed Naruto's forehead, and said, Good night, lil bro. He then closed the door behind him before making his way to the couch where he laid down. Grabbing a pillow and a blanket, he proceeded to go to sleep. He was so attached to Naruto now, and despite the fact that this made him happy, he couldn't help but fear. He felt so vulnerable now. Every time he opened his heart, something happened. An uneasy feeling came over him. A what-if scenario playing out in his mind, reminding him of all the times he failed to save the people he loved. Kakashi felt like bad luck. Anytime he got close enough to someone to admit that he loved them, they suffered a horrible fate and scarred Kakashi for life. What if Naruto ended up... Kakashi shook his head, trying to push the thought from his mind. As he laid there, he began to fall asleep. The next morning, Kakashi awakened. The sun was just rising. He had only gotten about 5 hours of sleep, but that was standard for him. His body didn't seem to require more than that. It was recommended by doctors to get anywhere between 7 minimum to 9 maximum hours of sleep a night, but Kakashi seemed to be doing well with this. Shinobi had ways of coping. Perhaps he had just trained himself to skip REM sleep and go straight into the third stage of NREM quicker. Due to this, he sacrificed vivid memories for more abstract and rare dreams, but in the end, it resulted in his body getting what it needed more quickly and in a shorter amount of time, which to him was perfect. Upon waking up, he considered not telling Naruto, but then felt as though he should due to his promise. So after brushing his teeth and cleaning up, readying himself for the day, he walked into Naruto's room and gently nudged the boy. Naruto turned over to face him and yawned before opening his eyes. "Hi, Kashi," he said with a groggy smile. "Hello, Naruto," Kakashi said. "I'm headed off now and just wanted to tell you to have a good day. Remember, if you ever need me, I'm just a phone call away." "Okay." Kakashi ruffled the boy's hair with a smile. He then stood and turned around and left the apartment. As he left, though, a man in the distance watched. A tiger stripe pattern mask covered his face and hid it from view. So, This is the one who bears the nine tails, and where he lives, he said to himself. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Kakashi used the day to recover himself. While he loved spending time with Naruto, sometimes it was nice to just have time to yourself. He cleaned his apartment, made sure to catch up on bills and tax preparedness, and made sure that all the deductibles were put into an envelope with the year printed on it. He visited the bank, did a little grocery shopping, and otherwise just did what he needed. Naruto never did text, and Kakashi assumed that this was because he didn't want to disturb him. Kakashi would spend his time at home from that point on and would end up going to bed early that night, as he hoped to start his shift to watch Naruto early the next day, wanting to make sure he caught up on all the sleep he needed. The next day, Kakashi got up and at about 3 p.m. decided to head out. He called in an order of food and picked it up. It was his and Naruto's favorite meal. This should lift spirits, he said, referring to the time they were separated. Heading to Naruto's apartment, he opened the door. Naruto, I'm back, he called out. There was no response. Naruto? It was dark in there, like no one had opened the blinds. Don't tell me he's still sleeping. What a lazy bones, sleeping into 3 p.m. like this. Kakashi would continue to judge if he hadn't been accused of doing the same thing on his days off. Placing the food on the table, he switched on the lights. The moment he did so, he looked around and found the living room to be ransacked. Naruto? Kakashi asked with a slight bit of panic. Stepping over the messy house, he began to check all of the rooms, finding them empty. Lastly, he entered Naruto's bedroom to find it empty as well. All that remained was a broken window where it seemed someone had entered or escaped through. Naruto! Kakashi cried out through the window, hoping to get a response. Traveling to the roof opposite, he found Tenzo hogtied. Undoing the gag in his mouth, he asked him straight, "What's going on?" "There was a guy," Tenzo said. "He had a mask. I looked into it and saw a single eye staring back at me. A Sharingan. Somehow, there's an Uchiha out there." "You think it was Itachi?" Kakashi asked. Tenzo, now completely untied, spoke. "No, I worked with Itachi too. There would be no reason to hide his face, nor any reason to change his voice. I felt like this was a different guy entirely, but he could be similar. A rogue shinobi." "There are no missing nin Uchiha," Kakashi said. "It's possible this guy wasn't even an Uchiha. Maybe he stole a Sharingan during the war. Whatever it was, that was the kind of guy who took Naruto." This was reported to Hiruzen, who began to suspect that it might have been the same one who was responsible for Kushina and Minato's deaths. "Then we suspected the Uchiha for nothing," Kakashi said, realizing that the coup planned by the Uchiha due to their mistreatment was somewhat justifiable now. "We need to rescue him," Kakashi said. "I know, Kakashi, but the issue is we have no leads. We don't know where Naruto is. He could be anywhere. Don't you have a way to track him? What about his 8 trigram seal? Did you not consider adding a tracking seal to it? We didn't put the seal on him. Minato did. And due to the power of the Nine Tails and the threat it posed to the village, we didn't want to risk messing up the seal by altering it." Kakashi rubbed his face. "I know you care for the boy, but you have to think clearly, Kakashi. If you're not level-headed, you'll be of no use to us or Naruto." "I can't do this again, Lord Third," Kakashi said. "I lost my mother before I even had the chance to know her. Then I lost my father, then my team. I've lost so many people and had my heart rent open more times than I should be able to survive. I can't lose Naruto." Hiruzen put his hand on Kakashi's shoulders. "We're working around the clock to find a lead, Kakashi. Just be patient. We'll come up with something. Go home and rest." Kakashi tried to do just that, but found himself unable to. He couldn't sleep for anything, and so he decided to spend his time at Naruto's apartment, as if maybe being there he might be able to feel better about this, but he didn't. Entering Naruto's room, he saw that the doll was left on the bed. Kakashi picked it up and looked down at it. "Minato, Kushina, please forgive me. I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best to protect him. I love him as you would have, but I'm not good enough." "You're plenty good," a voice came to him. An internal voice, as if the voices of Minato and Kushina were speaking inside of his mind. Was it really their spirits, or was it his guilty conscience trying its best to remind Kakashi that he wasn't at fault for this? Either way, it didn't help much. "You know, yellow is such an unusual hair color," one of the voices inside his head said. Once, when Kushina was kidnapped, she had pulled bits of her own hair out and left a trail. Kakashi remembered when he heard this story from Minato. Perhaps the memory was only coming up now because he was thinking about them. "I wonder how similar Naruto is to his mother," the voice said. Suddenly, it hit Kakashi like a truck. What if Naruto did start leaving a trail of hair to lead him to the enemy's secret lair? Raising his forehead protector a bit to expose his Sharingan, he looked around. The window seemed to have a single golden hair wrapped around one of the shards of glass. There was also a little bit of blood. Somebody nicked themselves on the glass and were bleeding. Following the trail out, he wandered the rooftops again and saw more blood and hair making a longer trail. Kakashi's heart began to race as he knew there was a chance that he could still find Naruto. Naruto, still in his pajamas, had been carried off and was now brought to rest within a cave where he'd been tossed into a cage. Locked up, Naruto stood and walked over to the bars. "Who are you? Why are you doing this to me?" "Because you have something I want, and I will have it before I'm through with you. My big brother Kakashi will save me. You're doomed. You better say your prayers, because he's gonna come and smush ya." The masked man laughed a bit. "That failure of a shinobi you call a friend. Give me a break. Nobody's coming for you, kid. You just gotta accept the facts." "You're wrong. Kakashi promised he'd always protect me." The masked man turned back to face Naruto, his glowing red eye gazing into the boy's soul. Naruto felt intimidated by this and took a few steps back. The masked man knelt down and spoke. "Kakashi promised you, huh? Well, don't expect him to keep it. He's a pathological liar. He makes a lot of promises, and they always turn out bad. You're not the first person he promised to always protect, and that person is laying dead in a ditch somewhere right now because of his failure. In fact, he had promised to protect her, and instead it was his hand that killed her. Kakashi's promises aren't worth the spittle that gets absorbed into his cheesy mask every time he makes them." "You're wrong. Kakashi would never lie to me," Naruto said. "Are you so sure?" the masked man asked. "He's already lied to you." Naruto seemed confused. "What do you mean?" The man let the moment remain silent to bring about a new gravity to his words. "For so many years, you never knew what you were, why you were hated. You don't even understand why I want you now." Naruto looked at the man with cautious skepticism. The man continued, "It's because sealed within you is the nine-tailed demon fox that ravaged the village 5 years ago. The very day of your birth, the Nine-Tails escaped your mother and went on a rampage. Your father sealed it away at the cost of his own life, and now everyone blames you for the damage and death caused by the Nine-Tails." Naruto seemed confused. "Oh, so you don't actually know who your parents are. It seems Kakashi really has told you nothing." Obito paused, letting the moment build more anticipation. "Your father was the 4th Hokage, Minato Namikaze, and your mother was the previous Jinchuriki, Kushina Uzumaki." Ku, Naruto said, finally realizing what the embroidered letters on the hem of his favorite doll were. "Kakashi knew about this?" Naruto asked. "Everyone knows about this. From Hiruzen to Kakashi to every villager who gives you the skunk eye. Everyone knows. Everyone but you. Kakashi knew the whole time who you were and where you came from, because he was a member of your father's Genin team." Naruto was shocked. "No, that's not true." "It is. Your Kakashi is probably one of the few people who truly knew who Minato Namikaze was. And despite this, Kakashi probably could have saved your parents, but instead he let them die. He failed them the same way he failed his teammates." "You're lying," Naruto shouted. "How would you know who my parents are or any of this stuff?" Naruto asked. The masked man then spoke. "I know who your parents are because I killed them. I am responsible for the life you now live. I stole from you the life you could have had, and now I will take from you the only life you know. I will have that Nine-Tails within you, and when I take it from you, I will leave your body to rot just the same as I did with your parents." Naruto was overwhelmed as he fell on his rear, staring at the man in disbelief. There was too much to process. Naruto didn't know if he even could. All he knew was that he was in tremendous pain, and he didn't know what to do with it. Kakashi is the reason that I live like this?" "Perhaps that's the only reason he became your friend," the masked man said. "He pitied you. He ruined your life. Maybe that's why he did this. Either way, it's over now. And you can thank him for that. Much like with everyone else, he wasn't there. He was unable to stop me from taking you, and now, you're mine." Obito stood. "I'll bring you something to eat soon. You need to be strong so you can survive until I manage to take that Nine-Tails from you." The masked man walked away. Kakashi had made his way to the cave entrance. Looking out, he wondered if this was where Naruto was being kept. The trail of hair and blood had led him here. His shuriken holster strapped to his leg, Tanto on his back, Kakashi slowly began to enter the cave. His Sharingan still exposed, he scanned the room for any sort of traps. There were a few that he could have stumbled into had he not had his Sharingan active. Most of these traps, though, were the noise-making kind, designed not to maim Kakashi, but instead alert the masked man that someone had entered his secret lair. Kakashi made his way deeper in, and witnessed in the distance a cage where Naruto sat, looking at the ground with a sort of 1,000-yard stare. "Psst, Naruto! Naruto!" Kakashi called out. Naruto raised his eyes to meet Kakashi's. Kakashi raised his finger to his lips. "Shh, I'm here to get you out. Don't make any noise." Kakashi walked over stealthily and pulled out a lock-picking kit which would allow him to open the lock on the cage. Sticking in the instruments, he began to press down on the pins before opening the lock. Once the lock was off, he opened the cage and scooped Naruto up onto his back. "Let's get out of here," Kakashi said as he began to leave the cage. Not long after, the masked man would discover that Naruto had escaped. "Kakashi," he said, immediately knowing the only person who could have made it past his traps. In the forest nearby, Kakashi led them off. Under cover of night, they knew that they could probably find cover. This was the first thing Kakashi decided to do. Sitting Naruto down, he began to look him over. "You're not hurt, are you? I saw blood on the glass shards. Was that yours?" Naruto shook his head. "No." Kakashi sighed with relief. "That's good. You don't look hurt, but tell me if something feels different." "Is it true?" Naruto asked. "Is what true?" Kakashi questioned. Naruto looked like he had tears building up in his eyes. "Did you really know who and what I was all along? Did you really know who my parents were?" Kakashi let out a troubled sigh and looked down. "You did know. You knew all along, and you lied to me about it," Naruto said, slowly getting more and more worked up. Naruto had only ever felt that he had one friend, and right now, he was feeling betrayed by that friend. "Naruto, there's a lot of complicated stuff, and there are reasons why I didn't tell you. Did you only hang out with me because you pitied me?" "No," Kakashi said. "Then only because it was a job? Was anything real? Were we ever actually friends?" Tears began to run down Naruto's cheeks. Kakashi wiped away a tear with his thumb as he lovingly held the side of Naruto's head. "Yes, Naruto, I can promise you it was real." Kakashi began to explain the truth to him. "I knew your father. I loved him. He was a pillar to me when I was going through a lot of tough times. Friends I'd promised I'd always protect ended up dead because of my failures. I never wanted to die so much in my life, but your father got me through it. He gave me a job to protect his pregnant wife. And I did so faithfully until the day came that she was to give birth. And the baby she gave birth to was you, but I wasn't there. I had been called away on duty, and when I finally got back, the Nine Tails was escaping. I wanted to fight it, but I was told Hiruzen had ordered every shinobi under a certain age to flee. I tried to buck against the rule, but they left me no choice. Even then, I wish I had gone. Maybe I could have saved them," Kakashi said as he looked away. "One of my greatest regrets in life. My failure cost the lives of my friends. My failure cost the lives of your parents. And my failures are the reason why you're the host of the demon fox who killed them." Kakashi almost looked as though he would cry. "I am filled with so much shame. It's because of me that your life is hell. And what's worse, I wasn't even there for you growing up. I only joined up when Hiruzen told me about the job. I didn't even want it at first, but as I began to ghost you, following you around, I started to understand how important you were, and worse, what you didn't have. When you were beaten and left to die, I knew I had to do something. I couldn't let my master's son, the child born by the woman I considered a mother, to die. So I took care of you, and the longer I spent with you, the happier I became. The more I began to realize that I was okay, and that it was okay to feel again. You changed my life, Naruto, so I promise, everything we did together, all the great times we spent, the things we shared, our friendship, it was all real. Every last bit of it." A tear began to trail down Kakashi's face. Naruto reached out and wiped it away with his thumb. "I understand, Kakashi. I still love you. You're still my big brother." Kakashi hugged Naruto closely. "I love you, little brother," he said. They embraced there for a time. That was until a voice spoke from behind. How touching. Naruto's eyes were filled with concern as he looked on. Kakashi slowly turned around to see the masked man standing there, holding a katana. Kakashi pulled his tanto from behind him and pushed Naruto away. "Naruto, I need you to run." "Run where?" "Anywhere. Just get away from here. I'll hold him off, but I need you to escape, okay?" Naruto nodded. "Now go!" Kakashi shouted. Naruto ran off into the woods. The masked man turned to see, only for Kakashi to jump between him and Naruto. "You're not getting past me," Kakashi said. The man scoffed. "You say that as if you genuinely believe you can stop me." "I won't let you touch Naruto," Kakashi said. "Then by all means, try and stop me." The two began to face off against each other. Their blades clashed. Despite Kakashi's prowess in wielding blades like this one, the masked man had an advantage, as his blade was longer. Despite these things, Kakashi did manage to get through the man's defenses and strike at him, only for his blade and his whole body to phase right through him, as if it were nothing. Predictable. As Naruto ran, he stopped and thought about it. What if Kakashi can't win? He looked back. What if Kakashi dies? The thought was enough to make Naruto want to start crying. He blinked away his tears as his eyes were filled with determination. "No, I won't let him. I'll protect him." Naruto began running back toward the battle. As Kakashi laid there on the ground, the masked man stood above him with his katana. "So foolish, Kakashi. It's too bad it has to end this way." You know my name? Kakashi questioned. It doesn't matter now. It's just sad that you'll have to die such an anticlimactic death, but oh well. Live in the spotlight, die in anonymity. If only all of us could be so lucky. He went to strike Kakashi down, but instead, Naruto, utilizing his tailed beast cloak, jumped onto his back and began clawing at his mask, biting the man on the shoulder. The man let out a cry and began to reach back. Gripping Naruto by the collar, he threw him against a tree, knocking him silly. That being said though, Naruto managed to rip the man's mask off. He turned back to Kakashi, whose face bore complete and utter surprise. Obito, the man smiled. In the flesh. But how did you survive? Kakashi asked. It's a story I've told many times. Too many times. How I survived no longer matters, only that I did. What are you doing? Kakashi asked. Cleaning up your mistakes, Obito said. I don't understand. Obito then spoke. You failed me. You failed Rin. Because of your actions, she's dead now. Gone from me forever. I never had the chance to really tell her how I felt. I never got a chance at love because, like everything else, you took it from me. I didn't take anything, Obito. I tried to preserve it. And you failed. Miserably. Like everything else you do, you failed miserably, Obito shouted. I still don't understand. What does this have to do with Naruto? There's a lot you don't understand. Just know that me taking this beast will allow me to accomplish the things you failed. It will let me achieve what I so desire. And what is that? Kakashi asked. To have Rin back. But you know what will happen if you take the tailed beast from that boy, don't you? Obito nodded. He will die, but I see it as a small price to pay. One unwanted child in exchange for a perfect world. Seems like a fair trade to me. He's not unwanted, Kakashi yelled. Oh, did I strike a nerve there? Listen, Kakashi. You're the only person in the world who actually cares for the life of this twerp. And when I kill you, he will be unwanted. I don't know what's happened to you, Obito, but I won't allow you to push your hatred of me onto Naruto. Don't worry, I don't need to push my hatred of you onto him. I have enough hatred to go around. Obito began to swing his katana at Kakashi. Kakashi blocked and dodged. As he swung his blade at Obito, his blade passed right through without so much as a scratch. How Obito did this was the question though. As Kakashi struck through him again, he noticed that Obito activated his Mangekyo Sharingan to do it. That's when it hit him. He's using his eye to phase his body through it. He's phasing into a different dimension when he does this. That's when Kakashi came up with his plan. If I do that at the same time I attack, maybe I can undo his and strike him down. Kakashi kept pushing back against Obito. Obito was very strong, and even though he had a large katana, Kakashi was quicker. He went in for another attack. Obito tried to phase through, but Kakashi phased the edge of his blade, which allowed it to go through, slicing Obito. Obito dropped his weapon and stepped back. Kakashi, still in the movements, came in towards the shocked Obito, ready to finish it. Getting a hold of himself, he saw the look in his best friend's face, or what used to be his best friend. He hesitated. It was then that Obito took his chance to disarm Kakashi, taking Kakashi's tanto for himself before knocking him to the ground. Fool, you should have killed your heart a long time ago. He went to stab Kakashi, but before he could, the tip of the blade caught something else. A desperate Naruto, feeling the need to protect his brother at all costs, jumped between Kakashi and Obito, catching the blade in his chest. There was a bit of a squeak as Naruto stood there, the pain rushing through his body. Don't touch my brother. As Naruto fell back, Kakashi in shock caught him. Obito was shocked as well, though he recovered quickly. Drat, I needed him alive. Oh well, I guess the Nine Tails will regenerate in a couple of years. Obito raised his blade again to finish them off, but Kakashi instinctively reached for the nearby katana, grabbed it, and threw it at Obito, using his Kamui to phase it through his heart. Obito gasped when he was struck. He stumbled back a bit, looking down at the wound before back at Kakashi. Damn you, he uttered before falling back. Kakashi sat there in shock. That was before he sat up and cradled Naruto in his arms. Naruto, he cried out. Naruto! Naruto was crying from the pain. Kakashi pulled him up into his arms and rushed off with him. Just stay with me, Naruto. I'll get you help. Kashi, Naruto uttered with a weak voice. Kashi, listen to me, he pleaded, hoping his last words would be heard. I'm here, Naruto, Kakashi said as he kept running toward the village. Stop and listen. Kakashi shook his head. No, I can save you. If I die, I want to tell you something. Please, he said as tears ran down his cheeks. Kakashi slowed down to a stop. He looked down, his eyes filled with worry. "You're not going to die." "Kashi," Naruto said, "I just wanted you to know I love you. I forgive you for not telling me the truth." "I don't want to be forgiven, Naruto. I deserve the pain. I deserve to be hated by you." Naruto shook his head. No, you don't. I forgive you because I love you, and I don't want you to hurt." Kakashi was crying now. "Please, Naruto, I already lost so many. I lost Obito, Rin, Minato, Kushina. I can't lose you now as well." Naruto spoke. "You won't lose me. Wherever you are, I'll be there too. I'll live on, in your heart." Kakashi shook his head. "No, that's not good enough," he said. "I need you here, with me, actually with me." He was crying heavily now. "Please, don't go." Naruto offered a small smile. "Promise me something, big brother." Kakashi nodded. "Anything." Naruto then spoke again. "Promise me that you won't throw away your heart." "Huh?" Kakashi asked. "I know your heart hurts, but don't throw it away. If you do, then where will I live?" Kakashi hugged Naruto tightly. At this point, Kakashi's shirt was drenched in the boy's blood. "Please, don't go. I'll do anything you ask. I'll never close my heart again, but please, don't go. Don't make me hurt." Naruto's eyes began to glaze over a little. He was losing the ability to see now. The light was fading fast. "Kashi, I love you." Kakashi looked down to see Naruto was no longer crying. Instead, his face bore a sense of fatigue and gentle joy in knowing he was cared for. The idea that his life meant enough that someone would cry that it was ending. Naruto, in those moments, knew his life had value, because if it didn't, nobody would miss him. But right now, Kakashi's tears, even though they hurt, gave Naruto peace and comfort in these final moments. "I love you too, Naruto." Naruto's smile widened a little bit as he closed his eyes. Goodbye. "No, Naruto!" Naruto's eyes closed to darkness. He felt numb, as if he were floating through space without a body. What only seemed like a moment later, though, he saw a bright light. He heard a voice call out to him. "Naruto! Naruto!" Naruto smiled. "Is this heaven?" He opened his eyes to see a brightly lit room. He blinked a bit. Looking down, he saw the sheets of a bed. His chest was covered in bandages. He wanted to move, but his chest hurt so much it took his breath away. Looking over, he saw Kakashi sitting there, asleep. In the same place, on Naruto's arm, was a tube filled with a crimson substance. Naruto sat there for a moment before whispering, "Kashi." There was no response. "Kashi," he whispered again. Kakashi's eyes opened. He looked over at Naruto and almost fell out of his seat. He came over to his side. "Naruto!" Kakashi, so happy that the boy was alive, hugged him tightly, causing Naruto to yelp in pain at the added pressure. "Sorry," Kakashi said. "I'm just glad you're okay." "I thought I died," Naruto said. "I thought so too, but the doctors said that you were just barely alive. They attributed it to the Ninetales in you, kickstarting regeneration in an attempt to keep you alive. As it turns out, if you die, so too does the Ninetales. And if the Ninetales dies, well, he doesn't want to die, so he keeps you alive. I brought you here, and they said that they needed to give you a blood transfusion. Since you're B positive and I'm O positive, I offered to give you some of mine, which they took. They said it probably saved your life." Naruto's eyes glistened with amazement as he heard the miracle that took place that would keep him together with his best friend. "I love you, Kashi," Naruto said. "I love you too, Naruto." After this, Naruto would be discharged into Kakashi's care, who would then bring Naruto home and tend to him personally until he was completely healed. Together, they played their games, watched movies, and enjoyed the time that they feared they would never have again. It turned out to be one of the better half months of their lives. But sorrowfully, Kakashi was still broken up by the need to kill his own best friend. His past had crept up on him and tried to destroy his future, but Naruto stuck close by him and stayed by his side. The years passed, and eventually Naruto would be allowed to graduate from the academy. The moment he did, Kakashi would invite him to join his new Team 7 alongside Sakura and Sasuke. And as they faced the future together, they knew that they would always have each other's backs. Kakashi stood outside of the academy as he would often walk Naruto home. However, today was different. Kakashi was wringing his hands with worry. The reason? Naruto was attempting to take a very important test today. A test that would forever dictate his future. Failure would lead to death. Or, that's the way Naruto articulated it. The importance of such a test was, in all honesty, very small. But all the same, Kakashi didn't want Naruto to be left behind by his class, and he didn't want Naruto's confidence to take a hit. Due to that, Kakashi and Naruto had been working quite a bit on these things. They had been studying for the written half and attempting to learn how to use clones. When Kakashi had set up a faux test, Naruto had passed with flying colors. But Kakashi couldn't be sure that Naruto wouldn't suffer some form of performance anxiety and fail. It wasn't the end of the world if he did, but it would be hard on Naruto, all things considered. So Kakashi silently prayed that Naruto wouldn't fail. As the hands ticked past 3 p.m. on the clock, students began to be let out in waves. The first wave, the second wave, the third wave. It seemed a lot of kids had taken the test, and equally the same amount had passed by the looks of their headbands. But as of yet, there was no Naruto. Kakashi waited, and eventually the other kids would all slowly leave or be picked up by their parents. It was now about 3:20 p.m., and once again Kakashi was alone. No Naruto. He began to wonder where he was. He almost considered going in to ask, until eventually he saw a brightly colored kid whose hair and clothes were so reflective that it would be impossible for him to hide like a true shinobi would. Walking over, he prepared to ask, but then he saw the look on Naruto's face. Such a melancholic, disappointed face, head hung low. Kakashi knelt down by Naruto. Naruto avoided eye contact. Kakashi put his hands on the boy's shoulders. "It's okay, Naruto. It was a bad day. You can always take the test again tomorrow." "I don't want to take the test again," he said. Kakashi was shocked by this. His confidence was already destroyed by the sound of it. "Now, Naruto, you don't mean that. I know you dream of being a shinobi and a Hokage as strong as your father. So surely you'll want to take the test again. Elsewise, you can't be a Genin." Naruto shook his head. "Why would I want to take the test again when I passed?" Naruto suddenly raised his head with a smile. He pulled his hand out of his pocket, dragging with it a headband with the metal plate of the village crest. Kakashi was shocked at first, a little upset at the needless dragging out of the moment for emotional response before finally offering a smile. Whatever, it didn't matter. All that mattered was that Naruto had passed and was happy. "Well, this seems like a good time to celebrate," Kakashi said. "How about we go out and get something to eat?" Naruto nodded. "Sounds great." And so they decided to head off to get something to eat together to celebrate Naruto passing his test. Kakashi was pleased. What he hadn't told Naruto was that he had left the Anbu specifically for this moment, in hopes of becoming a guiding Jonin. He wanted to be the mentor who led Naruto and taught him everything he knew. He knew that Naruto would learn better from someone he was comfortable with. That was how Naruto tended to learn. He didn't learn well from others as much as he did Kakashi, and that was likely because he felt no connection with them, and therefore had no initial desire to listen to them in the first place. And considering that Kakashi knew and was on good terms with 2 separate Hokage, that would increase Naruto's chances of becoming a Hokage himself. Kakashi knew he would be the one to help skyrocket Naruto's shinobi career, to push Naruto further than he could go by himself, and to give him a chance to actually make it. And so it was then that during their meal, Kakashi broke the joyous news. "So, Naruto, I have news of my own." Naruto looked up from his plate. "What is it?" he asked. Kakashi spoke. As it turns out, am no longer in the Anbu." Naruto gasped. "Don't tell me you were fired. I'm gonna chew Hiruzen out so hard for this." Kakashi let off a chuckle and shook his head. "No, Naruto, it's not Hiruzen. The reason why I'm no longer in the Anbu is because I voluntarily left." Naruto was confused. "Why in the world would you want to do that? Didn't you like being an Anbu?" Kakashi nodded. "I did, but I decided there was something else I wanted to do." "What's that?" Naruto asked. Kakashi smiled under his mask. "I decided to become a standard Jonin so I could take on a Genin team of my own," he said, scratching the side of his head. Naruto looked on in confusion. He didn't speak. Kakashi then drove it home. "Naruto, I've volunteered to be the Jonin for your Genin team." Naruto's eyes lit up. You mean you're going to be my sensei too?" Kakashi nodded. "Of course, I won't be able to give you any preferential treatment, but..." Naruto basically jumped over the table into his arms, tipping Kakashi's chair and causing him to fall over. Kakashi laughed, as did Naruto. They were making a scene, of course, and likely would soon be asked to leave if they didn't straighten up, but that was okay. They were both just very excited to be able to go on the same missions together. Returning to their home late that day, Kakashi helped Naruto get ready for bed before tucking him in. After that, Kakashi would head into the living room before pulling out the couch into a bed. By this point, Kakashi was just living with Naruto now. He did still have his own apartment, but considering how often they spent the night, it had become almost an every night thing. And so, now Kakashi just had bought a new couch that could pull out into a bed to be comfortable on. The day after this, he set out early to speak with Hiruzen about his team. It was Hiruzen who put these teams together, and on special request from Kakashi, Hiruzen had placed Naruto on Kakashi's team. Not only were Naruto and Kakashi close, but Kakashi also had the Sharingan, which he would be able to use on the Ninetales should it escape or begin to cause an issue, so it was perfect. That being said, while Kakashi knew Naruto would be on his team, he was the only one he knew. The others were as of yet a mystery. That was why he was heading to the Hokage's office, to find out who else would be on his team. Upon entering the building, the receptionist told him that Hiruzen was currently open for their appointment, and that he could go right in. And so Kakashi would head up to the Hokage's office, knocking first. Hiruzen would call out to open the door. Kakashi would open up the door to see the kind and beckoning face of the third Hokage. "Kakashi, welcome, come on in." Kakashi would step in, shut the door behind him, offer a slight bow, and take a seat in front of the Hokage's desk. "I'm here to inquire about the team I'm supposed to have." Hiruzen nodded. "Of course, I already have the final 2 members selected," he said. He gave over the files of them both. Kakashi read the one containing Sakura. "Quite the promising student," he said, but it was the second file that caught his eye. He lifted it up and opened it. Sasuke Uchiha. Hiruzen sat silent for a moment, just looking at Kakashi over the tops of his clasped fingers. He was gauging his reaction. Kakashi looked up over the file. "Why did you choose him for my team?" he asked. "I chose him because of your relationship with Naruto," Hiruzen said. Kakashi shook his head. "I don't understand." Hiruzen then spoke. "Do you remember all of those years ago when I put you on security detail to protect Naruto?" Kakashi nodded. "You remember how I said that my true goal was for the 2 of you to become friends?" Once more, Kakashi nodded. Hiruzen continued speaking. "All along, my goal had been to get you 2 to form a relationship and for you to find purpose for caring for somebody else. It worked, and you became a highly responsible guardian. But if I may say, even I was surprised by how well you got Naruto to open up. I always found Naruto to be quiet and reserved due to the way that others treat him. But now, because of you, he's outgoing and happy." Hiruzen smiled as he spoke. "You are very good with children, particularly ones in states like Naruto. I had always known that your heart was large, but I never knew how well you would do. It's as if you're naturally born with an innate ability to parent. I sense the reason why you do so well with children in Naruto's position is that you have a very similar background, and as such you can truly understand them. Understand what they need." Kakashi was skeptical as he read the file. Hiruzen continued. "Sasuke is a particularly tough nut to crack though," Hiruzen said. "He has seen a lot, and unlike Naruto, he was not practically born an orphan, but instead became one." Hiruzen looked down. "His particular case is one of intense trauma. While he may have never been hated quite like Naruto, he lost everything and everyone unexpectedly to someone he loved. He almost died and witnessed things that no child ever should. He's not been able to overcome it, and it's left him broken. The person I feel most able to help Sasuke pick up the pieces of his life and put them back together is you. After all, it's not the first time you've had to put a life back together. You seem to have a lot of experience with it, and I'm thinking you could probably help Sasuke too." "I don't know about that," Kakashi said as he sat the file down on the table. "You know who his brother is, right?" Kakashi asked. "Of course you know. You were the one who told me," Kakashi tacked on. "He's Itachi's brother. I don't know how wise it is to put me together with Sasuke. After all, Itachi was a part of my team in the Anbu before all of this happened. I don't see him so happily joining my team. For all I know, he blames me for his brother's decision." Hiruzen shook his head. "I don't think it'll be an issue, and if it is, it certainly won't be one you can't navigate." Kakashi sighed as he rubbed his face. "I know what happened with Naruto was great," Kakashi said, "but I'm afraid you're getting the wrong idea. I'm not some psychiatrist. I'm not a member of social services. I can't just be the answer to every case you send my way." "I recall you being skeptical about taking up the position to care for Naruto, too," Hiruzen said. "I'm aware of that as well," Kakashi replied. I'm not questioning this because I don't want to be a part of Sasuke's healing, but I'm simply worried about my ability to juggle Naruto and Sasuke at the same time. If you don't think you could handle more than one child, you wouldn't have volunteered to be a mentor to 3. I think you can do it, Kakashi. Don't sell yourself short. I believe that there's nobody that's a better fit for this job than you. If I did, I'd be asking that person to work with Sasuke instead. Kakashi sighed as he looked down on the file. Are you certain that this is a good idea? Hiruzen nodded. Very much so. Kakashi took a deep breath and let it out in a sigh. I've long learned to stop doubting you in situations like these. If you're certain that I'm the best choice, then I'll do it. Hiruzen smiled. Good. I have faith that you'll be able to do what is best for Sasuke. The next day, Kakashi got up early and woke Naruto up. The two had breakfast and got properly dressed. Today you're gonna meet your new teammates. Be sure to be on your best behavior. Can't you just tell me who will be on my team? Naruto asked, raising his brows a couple times. Kakashi smiled. I can, but try to keep it cool, okay? Sounds awesome, Naruto said. The first person on your team will be Sakura Haruno, Kakashi said. Naruto's eyes lit up. Heck yeah, local babe joins the smash. Kakashi looked at Naruto out of the corner of his eye. I suggest that you do not make comments like that around her. She may be attractive by middle school standards, but that doesn't give you the excuse to harass her. Be respectful of her boundaries and don't call her babe, okay? Naruto sighed. Way to kill the mood. Anyway, who's the other one? The other team member will be Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto's eyes widened before he proceeded to roll them. Oh man, we had to get Sasuke of all people? What, you don't like Sasuke? Kakashi asked. Naruto scoffed. Sasuke's always the most popular kid in class, and he's always so edgy. I can't stand him. Come on now, don't be that way, Kakashi said. Sasuke's been added to our team for a special reason. And what reason's that? Naruto asked. Keep this a secret, alright? Kakashi proceeded to tell Naruto why Sasuke was added to the team. Wow, he's really gone through a lot, hasn't he? I didn't know some of that stuff, Naruto said as he, like Kakashi, was combing his hair. Yeah, well, don't mention it to him. It sounds like he's in a really tough place, and I can relate because I've been in a position similar to him. Sometimes it's not easy to keep living when something like what he's experienced happened. Naruto nodded. Well, I'll try and cut him some slack then. Kakashi smiled and looked at Naruto. That's the spirit. And so, after that, the two left their apartment. They crossed the village quickly before making it to the academy. Entering in, they found the classroom where they would meet the others. Upon opening the door, they saw Sasuke sitting there in a chair with a bit of an embarrassed face as Sakura kept pushing closer to him, talking his ear off, making not-so-subtle references to how hot she found him. Looks like it's not me you have to worry about in regards to harassment, Naruto said. Kakashi cleared his throat loudly, causing the two to finally turn their attention to him. Sakura sat there, beaming like sunshine from ear to ear, and Sasuke's face bore no actual emotional change. He remained with the same stoic appearance as before. Kakashi pointed to a seat to tell Naruto to go sit down there. Naruto obliged, walking over and sitting down. Kakashi stood there in front of them all. Well, I suppose you are all what we're going to call Team 7, he said. It's a pleasure to meet you all. My name is Kakashi Hatake, and I'm going to be your sensei from here on out. He pointed to Naruto. That's Naruto. He's not only going to be a member of our team, but he's also my charge. Before you ask, no, I don't plan to favor him. I am able to separate work from home life. If he screws up, let me know. Naruto's happy expression slowly turned to one of embarrassment. Kakashi continued. I think that the best way for us to come to know each other is to simply tell. I'll ask you questions and you'll answer them. Sound fair? Will we get to ask you questions too? Sakura asked. Kakashi nodded. Yes. Since you seem to have volunteered, why don't we start with you, Miss Sakura? What can you tell us about yourself? Sakura thought about it. I graduated with the highest GPA in my class, she said. Kakashi nodded in understanding. Oh, a smarty pants. That's interesting. Tell us about that. Is your intelligence a gift you were born with, or did it come only by hard work? A bit of both, Sakura said. I always found it easy to understand the things taught here, but that didn't stop me from ravenously devouring any and all information I could. My favorite subject is biology. I simply like to understand how things work on a cellular level. I don't just want to know that life exists, I want to know how it exists, maybe even why. Wow, you sound quite philosophical. You'll be very useful on this team, and I can guarantee that during your time here you will learn many new things. Maybe it'll help you answer the questions you're asking. He then turned to Naruto. Go ahead and tell them about yourself, Kakashi said. Naruto turned to the others. Well, I'm Naruto. I'm also apparently the Ninetales Jinchuriki. I was really young when I became the host. My parents died on the day of my birth, when the village was attacked by the tailed beast that was sealed inside my mother. To save the village, they sealed the beast inside of me, and I've kept it at bay ever since. Sakura seemed shocked. Wow, I never knew that about you, Naruto. Is that why people seem to treat you weirdly? Naruto nodded. It was explained to me that the people simply don't understand what my role in the village is, or what I'm supposed to do. They hate the Ninetales a lot, and because of that, their feelings seem to spill over on me a little bit. But I've decided not to be bitter about it. I'm providing a very important service to my village, and even if they don't understand it, I'll continue doing it because I love my people. Sakura nodded. Very mature of you, Naruto. I'll be glad to learn more. Kakashi was pleased. It seemed like his team was starting to mesh well. He looked over. And what about you, Sasuke? What can you tell us about yourself? Sasuke sat there quietly for a moment. What is it that you'd like to know? Kakashi shrugged. Anything. Sasuke thought for a moment. I like, he seemed to stop. Well, I dislike, Once more, silence filled the air. Sorry, I just wasn't ready for this. Kakashi realized that it was maybe a bit worse than Hiruzen let on. He spoke kindly. It's okay, Sasuke. I'm sure we'll come to understand more about you later on. From there on, they moved out. The first thing to do was for them to try and take the bells from Kakashi. Considering that Naruto was living with Kakashi, he knew that he couldn't exactly say he wouldn't train them because Naruto would see right through it. So he took a different approach. Do you see these bells? He said, showing them to everyone. Each of these bells represents something, a meal. You see, what I plan to do is celebrate our new team by taking you all out to get something special. A steak, maybe, he said with a brow raise. But what kind of mentor would I be if I didn't make you work for it? So allow me to explain. The mission here is to test your bonds and teamwork. You see, these bells will each be one plate of whatever it is you want to eat. But there's only two, meaning one of you will get nothing. You'll instead have to sit there quietly and watch us all eat without you. Sakura raised her hand. Is that really fair? You've set it up so that it's impossible for all three of us to succeed. One of us will inevitably fail, she said. Kakashi pointed towards Sakura. That's dang right. But the test is to see how well you work together. See, if nobody gets a bell, then we'll go to that restaurant and none of you will be able to eat. Instead, you'll all sit quietly as I chow down on the most succulent steak imaginable. And I will moan about it too. So one of you will just have to be selfless and take the L so the others can eat. Who takes that L will be up to you three to decide, but someone will have to take it. Now, let's go. Kakashi dashed into the woods. The team began to follow after him. As Kakashi moved, he saw the team trying to work together to some degree. Everyone except Sasuke. Sasuke was trying to succeed by other means. Was it simply that he was selfish? Kakashi wasn't so sure about that. The truth was, Sasuke was somewhat ignoring the team in an effort to get the bells himself. All alone, he was in hot pursuit of Kakashi. That was until a slip caused a bad fall from a tree. Sasuke hit the ground with a blood-curdling scream. Kakashi stopped, turned around, and saw him laying on the ground, gripping at his leg. Oh crap, he just broke his leg, Kakashi said. He suddenly jumped down from the tree and ran over to Sasuke. Are you all right, he asked, kneeling down. Move your hands, let me feel it, Kakashi said. As soon as he began checking the leg, he found no injury at all. It was a ploy. Sasuke reached out and grabbed the bells. Got him, he said. Kakashi sighed. In that moment, Sasuke noticed another Kakashi standing in the trees. Sasuke looked at this Kakashi as he suddenly poofed into smoke, the bells around his waist going with him. How did you know I was faking? Sasuke asked. I didn't, Kakashi said. I thought it was a possibility, but I didn't expect you to take the low road like that. Honestly, an A-tier shinobi technique, but I wasn't born yesterday. Anything I can do, my shadow clones can do, so I sent a clone just in case it was a feint. Glad I did. Good job, but also, what an L. Kakashi jumped away, leaving Sasuke alone. From that point on, Sasuke didn't even seem to try. He didn't move from that spot. Sakura and Naruto both failed because of the lack of help Sasuke was giving them. That being said, they probably would have failed anyway, but Kakashi had been willing to cut them slack and maybe lay down a bit if they had all tried their hardest to work together. But now, as the sun was setting, it became obvious that the test was over. They failed. As the team came back together, he delivered the bad news to them. Well, team, you failed, and you know what that means. The three of them looked down in shame. Kakashi walked over to Sasuke. Why did you just give up? Don't you actually want to be a shinobi? Shinobi don't give up. They keep trying until they run out of strength. I'm disappointed in you, Sasuke. Sasuke looked away from Kakashi. Kakashi took a deep breath. I'm not a monster though. You three have room to improve, sure, but I was impressed with your skills, and that includes you, Sasuke. You just need to work more at it. As a reward for what you did, I'm going to forego the punishment and let you all celebrate. Tonight is a joyous night. We're all together now. I'm not going to ruin that for no good reason, so just get it all off your mind. We'll try again some other time, but for now I just want you to be happy. And so Kakashi took them out to eat, his treat. He got the most succulent steak in the world. Sakura got some grilled fish with a side of shrimp. Naruto got chicken fingers as always. Seemed like a waste to go to a wonderful grill like this only to get regular old chicken fingers, but that's what he wanted, so he let him order it. As for Sasuke, at first he wasn't sure he wanted to order anything at all. Kakashi pushed him though, and Sasuke ended up getting a big messy hamburger with all the fixins. Honestly, had Kakashi not gone with the steak, he would have done that too. Despite this, Sasuke didn't really seem to eat any of it. Kakashi felt bad. Maybe he had been a bit too hard on Sasuke. He put his hand on Sasuke's shoulder in a comforting fashion. You don't have to be ashamed, Sasuke. I failed that test too when I first took it, and it took me a long time to get it right, but I did. Considering your instincts, I see you growing into an even greater shinobi than I. So don't let it bother you. Just decide in your heart not to repeat the mistake and you'll prove you learned something valuable. Despite these words, Sasuke didn't want to touch his burger. It's okay. You can take it home with you to eat for a snack sometime. Nothing beats waking up at 3 a.m. and having a messy cheeseburger. I'm also going to give you 3 tomorrow off to get ready for our next mission. What's our mission? Sakura asked. It's nothing much, just a few chores around the village. But even if this work is small, it's still important, and it helps people. It's a good way for the 3 of you to get acclimated, a safe learning environment. Sakura seemed to understand. She took to the idea with enthusiasm. Naruto less so, as he wanted to go kill someone for his first mission, but he seemed to settle with the idea. And so, after this, he let them all go home. Sasuke was the first to leave. Kakashi found it odd, but he let it slide. Sakura would walk with them a ways and thank Kakashi for the meal, saying she planned to enjoy the rest for a snack as well. Kakashi gladly waved to her as she left. From there, Naruto and Kakashi walked home. As they did, Naruto spoke. Sasuke seemed like he really didn't want anything to do with us. Do you think he hates being on our team? Kakashi shook his head. No, I don't think it's that. I think it's just that he's having trouble acclimating to relying on others, and the idea of trying it again is causing him anxiety. The last time he trusted someone, it didn't end well. Naruto understood. I hope there's something we can do to help. The best we can do is remain kind and prove that he's not wrong to trust us. Sometimes it just takes time to break the ice, but you know what they say. Konoha wasn't built in a day. For the rest of the next day, they just had fun together. Naruto and Kakashi, that is. They played some games, watched some TV, and just enjoyed their lives. They got to bed early that night in hopes of waking up early enough to get to work. That day, the team did meet up. Today, they were on garbage collection duty. As they all worked, Naruto and Sakura turned it into a bit of a game, running about, acting like nuts. Sasuke just sorta stood by himself. His eyes had dark circles under them, and he seemed more than once like he was about to fall asleep on his feet. Kakashi walked over and gave him a bit of an elbow. Stay up a bit too late last night playing video games, eh? Sasuke looked at Kakashi for a moment before speaking. Yeah, video games. Kakashi stood there for a moment, seeing the look on Sasuke's face. He gave a whistle to call the group back. Hey guys, he shouted. Naruto and Sakura came running. What's up? They asked. I was thinking of taking an early lunch. Maybe we could have a bit of a siesta as well while we're at it. We don't have much to do today anyway, and the sun's kinda killing me. I definitely shouldn't have worn all this black. Naruto and Sakura agreed. So the team all sat down to have a snack, all except Sasuke, who decided to take his siesta early. Everyone finding their spot under a tree, they began to, each of them, saw logs. All the while, Kakashi decided to catch up with his reading. As he sat there, he watched his team rest, a smile playing across his face. It was then that he heard a sound. It started quietly, heavy breathing, followed by a grunt. Looking over the top of his book, he saw nothing. He returned to his book. Suddenly, the sound returned, followed by a voice pleading no. Sitting up straight, Kakashi put his book down and walked over to his students to see Sasuke having a bit of an issue. His face was twisted in fear as his breathing continued to quicken, inhaling and exhaling with intensity. Once more, he pled no. Sasuke was having a nightmare. Kakashi put his hand on Sasuke's shoulder and gave it a shake. Sasuke. Suddenly, Sasuke's eyes shot open, but in a moment, he gripped Kakashi's hand and rolled over, wrapping his legs around Kakashi's arm before using his body weight to force Kakashi to the ground. He pulled a kunai with a loud war cry and raised it up before stopping. At this point, Naruto and Sakura sat up. Naruto, upon seeing the kunai in Sasuke's hand, rushed over and tackled Sasuke off of Kakashi. Sasuke didn't fight back. His face merely twisted in fear as Naruto now threatened his life. Kakashi quickly got up and pulled Naruto off of him. "Naruto, stop! But he tried to kill you!" "No, he didn't. I accidentally startled him awake. He responded the way any shinobi would. It was my fault." Naruto stood there, trying to calm himself down. "All right, fine. Sorry." "It's okay, Naruto. You did the best thing you thought you could for me. Thank you." Sasuke sat there for a moment, looking at his team, the looks on their faces. It was clear that he was embarrassed. Tears began to form in his eyes. "I didn't mean..." "It's okay, Sasuke," Kakashi said as he drew closer. "I know you didn't mean to. It was my fault." He reached out his hand to Sasuke's shoulder. "I should have been more careful." Sasuke pulled away and stood. Dusting himself off, he spoke. "Maybe this just isn't working out," he said. "I don't think I'm ready to be part of a team." Kakashi held out his hand to stop Sasuke. "No, don't say that. It's okay. You just made a small mistake. You're human. We all do it sometimes. I gotta go." Sasuke turned around and began to walk away. Naruto sighed. "I really didn't mean to make that happen." Kakashi nodded. "I know, Naruto. Sasuke's just got some wounds that don't want to heal. It's not your fault." He let Sasuke go for the day. The remaining two worked with their mentor to finish the work they'd been assigned. Upon completing it, he let them return home. "Aren't you coming?" Naruto asked. "I've got some things to do tonight, Naruto," Kakashi said. "You go on home. I've got my cell. I'll stay in touch." Naruto took a deep breath. "If you see Sasuke, then tell him I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to hurt him." Kakashi smiled. "He knows, Naruto, but I'll pass along the message anyway." And with that, the two brothers parted ways. Kakashi would wander the streets for a little while, deciding to pick up some treats. It was always good to bring a peace offering to a friend in pain. Something they could hold on to remember that they're cared for. Getting something to eat, he carried the bag with him until he reached Sasuke's apartment. He knocked on the door a couple of times. There was silence. Nobody answered. He knocked on the door a couple more times. Waiting there, he began to wonder if maybe Sasuke simply wasn't home. That was until the door's lock clicked. The door began to slide open, though the swing bar lock remained in place to ensure anyone Sasuke didn't want in wouldn't be able to come in. He looked at Kakashi silently, not asking anything, just staring through tired eyes. He was already in his pajamas. "Hi," Kakashi said kindly. "What are you doing here?" Sasuke asked. "I just came to stop by and see how you were doing. I know today was pretty rough, but I wanted to make sure you were okay. Can I come in?" Sasuke was silent for a while longer. Kakashi raised the bag of food he brought. "I brought snacks." Sasuke waited a moment more before closing the door again. Kakashi sighed and turned to leave when he heard the U-lock being unlatched. He looked back to see Sasuke open the door. Sasuke walked back into his apartment. Stepping in, Kakashi could see how small it was. There was merely a kitchen, a bathroom, and basically a bed. It was quaint and cozy. Kakashi had always been the kind to think that big homes were creepy if you lived by yourself, so a single bedroom apartment that served as both a bedroom and a living room, while not the best for entertaining guests, almost made it like a personal paradise. The Sasuke space reminded Kakashi of some vacation resort, but only properly altered to fit Sasuke's style. Kakashi sat the food down on the bar in front of the kitchen. Sasuke sat down on his bed. "What are you doing here?" Sasuke asked. "Well, I was worried about you," he said. "If you're gonna ask me to come back to the team, you can just save your breath," Sasuke said. "As I said earlier, I don't think I'm cut out for a team at the current moment. I'm truly thankful for the opportunity, but I think I'm just gonna stay out of it." Kakashi leaned against the wall and let out a sigh. "I think you're making a hasty decision," he said. "I know today was rough, but you don't have to be afraid. Everyone knows it was just a mistake." Sasuke shook his head. "No, it wasn't just a mistake." Kakashi cocked his head. "What do you mean?" Sasuke sighed. "I'm messed up. Something's wrong with me. I'm a wuss." Kakashi shook his head. "No, you're not." Sasuke nodded. "Ever since that stuff happened to me, I just can't shake it. I feel so weak, so powerless. I don't want to be this way anymore, but I am. I can't sleep some nights. I can barely eat." Kakashi walked over and sat down on the bed beside Sasuke. "I understand what you're going through, Sasuke. A lot more than you probably think. You're not a wuss." Kakashi looked up at the ceiling. "You know, I came to realize things over the course of my life. Something very strange. Despite the mind being a metaphysical thing, something without physical form, it can still be hurt. And when it's hurt, the healing process isn't the same as for the physical." Once the pain in the physical body stops, it begins to heal itself, but the issue with the mind is that when it's damaged, it doesn't stop hurting for a long time, and even when it does, it doesn't heal the same way. To be honest, I'd rather take a physical wound over a mental one any day of the week. In fact, give me 2 physical wounds. I'd rather not deal with the long healing process of a mental wound. "Where's this going?" Sasuke asked. Kakashi looked to him. "You're not a wuss, Sasuke. You're strong. You're just hurt, and there's no shame in admitting that. There's no shame in admitting that something really hurt you. A lot of times there's this stigma that a real man, real woman, real shinobi, they don't act that way. But the thing is, anyone can act anyway if they're sufficiently hurt. Let me tell you a story. When I was younger, I was the son of a powerful shinobi named Sakamo Hatake. I looked up to my father, and I loved him a lot. But during the course of his career, he did something that he considered to be a mistake. Or at least everyone else around him considered it a mistake. And in a moment later, his entire career was gone. All of his prestige, all of the honor and glory he received, it all turned to shame and despair. And due to these things, he committed suicide. He was my only family member. That means that the person to discover him was me. I recall asking myself, why? Why was it that he had to die? Why did he kill himself? Did he not love me? Was I not important? I didn't notice his pain, and he wouldn't show it to me either. I had a hard time moving past that, but it only got worse from there. I ended up on a team under Lord Fourth, and I loved that team. My best friends were on it. But after a mission, my best friend Obito Uchiha was killed. Or so I had thought, leaving me alone to defend my other friend. I failed her, and she ended up dead. She threw herself in front of me and killed herself on my Chidori, Kakashi said. Sasuke was listening closely. Kakashi continued. It was only after this that I realized that my best friend wasn't killed. He survived and stayed in hiding for many years until eventually returning to the village where he tried to kill me. At some point, he had become corrupted, and nothing I could say would change his mind. He tried to kill Naruto, and I was forced to kill him. Besides those deaths, I also lost my mentor and the only woman I had ever viewed as a mother in the Nine Tails attack. And every single one of those I felt like it was caused by me. "How did you even survive?" Sasuke asked. I almost didn't. But each time one of the people I loved died, I found someone else to help me, to talk to. When I lost Rin, I talked to Minato about it. When I lost Minato, I found Hiruzen, who showed me to Naruto, and that helped me heal too. The thing is, I discovered that sometimes wounds never go away, but if you talk about them with someone who understands or someone who cares, it can help tremendously. Sasuke looked down like he was about to cry. "I don't know how to get past this," he said as tears fell to the ground beneath him. Kakashi put his arm around the boy's shoulders. "Then let's start from the beginning. Tell me about your troubles." "You don't know?" Sasuke asked. "How is it possible that anyone doesn't know?" Kakashi shook his head. "I do know, Sasuke, but I need you to tell me. I need to see it from your perspective. Then maybe I can help you." Sasuke took a deep breath and swallowed. "My life was simple. I had no idea how it might change. I wasn't even entirely aware of my importance as the son of the clan head until later. I lived a happy life, surrounded by love and care. My mother was the kindest woman. I was always told that I inherited her heart, filled with love and kindness, capable of such great compassion. And that was the best way to describe my mother. It was heavenly. I was sure that such feelings were why I was alive at all. To feel these wonderful feelings, and I guess that never really left me. My father was a more stern man. Not mean, but stern. Business-minded. He didn't really have much time to play with me, and I rarely saw him make a joke or act in any way other than the strong man he was, but despite that, he would still care for me, take me out places, let me ride on his shoulders, and at any time I was weak, he would push me to go beyond. And when it was clear that I couldn't go any further, he would tell me how proud he was of me and let me rest while finishing the task himself. I admired his strength so much. He was wise and strong, but sometimes frustrated. I chalked this up to his job being hard. He used to say that the village wasn't nice enough to us, and it upset him. But even still, he was strong, and always went to talk with the Hokage with dignity and grace. He was everything I wanted to be. Then there was... Sasuke stopped for a moment. He looked as though he might gag. Kakashi gave Sasuke a bit of a squeeze to tell him he was safe before getting the glass of water from his bedside table. He offered it to Sasuke, allowing him to take a sip. "Thanks," Sasuke said before taking a deep breath and continuing. Then there was Itachi. Sasuke's gaze traveled up toward the ceiling as he seemed to call back better memories he had once locked away. Itachi was... He was my big brother, Sasuke said with a smile, though it soon faded. I respected him like I respected my father, hoping to be just as good as him. If anything, Itachi was my first rival. I tried everything I could to train so I could one day be better than him, Sasuke said. I guess some things don't change. Itachi used to carry me on his shoulders. He used to take me out and tell me what a wonderful little brother I was, and how... Kakashi squeezed a bit more. Sasuke continued. How much he loved me. Sasuke sat there silently for a moment before taking another deep breath, then another sip of water. Whenever my father was too busy to spend time with me, Itachi would volunteer to do it instead. I never could understand how he could do what he did. Was all of that fake all along? Sasuke asked. Kakashi sighed as he measured his words. You know, I question that too, Kakashi said. I have a bit of a confession to make to you, Sasuke. Sasuke looked over at Kakashi questioningly. Kakashi then spoke. For quite some time, I knew Itachi. He was in my Anbu team. Sasuke seemed mortified and almost pulled away. Kakashi could understand, though he had hoped that Sasuke wouldn't close off. It was now that Kakashi had to remind Sasuke of how hurt he was by Itachi as well. For some time, I lived and died with Itachi. I taught him so much on both a philosophical and physical level. I never imagined he was capable of what he did. He never gave any hints. I knew he was capable of great violence, but that's what the Anbu were. I tried to steer him away from that and to bring him back to the point of kindness, to realize he didn't have to resort to death to answer every question. On the many times I spoke with him, all he ever talked about was peace and his hopes to see a world without death, without war. I admired him because of these dreams, but somewhere down the line, something must have happened to him. That's all I can guess. I have no idea what, though. One day he seemed worried. He hadn't been showing up for duty, and when I saw him, he looked as though he might get sick right in front of me. I'll never forget the look in his eye. It was as if he were standing on the battlefield, despite being in the safety of Konoha's walls. I don't know what got into him, but whatever it was, it must have really messed him up for him to do what he did. The day after that, I went into work and was told what happened. I could hardly believe it. I still don't understand how he could do that, but it doesn't change that it happened. Sasuke seemed to slowly grow a bit more accustomed to this information. Perhaps Kakashi's honesty had calmed him down, or perhaps he sensed a bit of a similar soul within Kakashi. Whatever it was, Sasuke had let his defenses down and was giving Kakashi the benefit of the doubt. I stayed at school late that day. I don't know why I did. I think back about it. For some reason, I just really didn't want to go home. I was having too much fun, so I stayed late. Maybe something was watching out for you. I've had my own share of unexplained happenings. I can only attribute it to divine protection. Sasuke nodded. Well, I decided to head home finally. The sun was gone, the moon was up, and I was sure I would get in trouble for missing dinner, but that was okay. I was just so happy to be alive. So happy to be me, to live where I lived, to adventure in the village and have fun. But every bit of my excitement, every drop of my enthusiasm, every ounce of that joy was snuffed out the moment I got to the compound and saw the darkness. Not a single light was on. It was so strange. The only word I could think of was it felt dead. Sasuke suddenly dropped his water and bolted toward the nearby trash can where he proceeded to puke. Kakashi was surprised for a moment, but then remembered just how hard a task it was to remember such events. Kakashi rose from the bed and walked over to Sasuke. He pat his back and held his hair back to make sure that his vomiting didn't mess it up. He would stop for a moment to breathe before doing it again. Sasuke's entire body was shaking. Eventually, Sasuke sat back on his knees. Kakashi let Sasuke lean up against him. You don't have to talk about it anymore, Kakashi said, deciding to cut him some slack. However, Sasuke continued anyway. There was so much blood. I knew something was wrong. Kakashi was beginning to worry that Sasuke was pushing himself too far. It was true that talking helped, but it was also true that healing didn't happen all at once. It occurred in small bursts over a span of time. Maybe we should take a break, Sasuke. Sasuke shook his head. No, I'm this far. I feel like I need to do this. Are you sure? Kakashi asked. Sasuke nodded. Please, let me finish. Okay, Kakashi said. He decided to remain silent from this point on, to let Sasuke finish this as quickly as possible. I saw my first dead body that night. It was maimed, butchered. Part of me wondered how it could ever have been a human. I raced home to tell my parents, but the moment I made it there, it was so dark. I ran around the back of the house, searching for my parents' room. As soon as I reached the door, I went to open it, but I stopped. I sensed something. I don't know how I knew, but I knew there was something on the other side of that door, and whatever it was, darkness followed it. I was sure I was marching to my death, but my fear was that whatever was in there might kill my parents if I did nothing. Gathering my courage, I opened the door and rushed in with the kunai the teacher had given me to practice with. Inside, I saw not a monster, but my own brother. He was standing over my parents. They were killed, their faces frozen in fear. Sasuke began to cry. "Sasuke, I really think we need to stop," Kakashi said. I asked what had happened. That's when I saw the truth in his eyes. He was responsible. He cast Tsukiyomi on me and forced me to witness his deeds over and over again for what seemed like hours. Kakashi was stunned. He forced you to watch it on loop with Tsukiyomi? Kakashi was astounded. It was no wonder Sasuke was so messed up. Tsukiyomi was a dangerous genjutsu, one known to have the capacity to destroy the minds of whoever was cast under it. Sasuke then spoke. "I tried to fight him after I recovered, but I was no match. He told me to come after him when I awakened my Mangekyo, but despite how bad I hate him, I never want to see him again," Sasuke shouted. Kakashi cradled the crying boy in his arms. Sasuke had just exposed his greatest weakness to Kakashi, and now Kakashi understood exactly why Sasuke was the way he was. He shushed him. Doing his best to comfort Sasuke, he said, "Listen, disregard what Itachi said. You don't need to carry that on your shoulders. It doesn't matter what any single man does. Nobody escapes justice, even if they thought they did. Every man dies, and when Itachi does, he'll have to give an account for everything he did here. Do not burden yourself with it." Kakashi lifted Sasuke up into his arms and carried him over to the bed, where he laid him down in it. He pulled the blanket up and gave him some tissues to blow his nose into. He then grabbed some fresh water for Sasuke to drink. After using these things, Sasuke laid back, slowly recovering. Kakashi spoke. "Sasuke, the things you bear on your shoulders are greater than the things most have to. You're far stronger than you give yourself credit for. I want you to know that your feelings are valid. I understand them. I was where you are now, and I promise that things will get better. You just gotta believe, okay?" Sasuke nodded. Kakashi touched his head to Sasuke's for a moment, and in that moment he understood what it was that Hiruzen had sent him here to do. There was good reason for him to be in Sasuke's life, and now he knew what it was. He was to help Sasuke, but the thing was, he needed Sasuke to make this decision himself. So after putting the food he brought into the fridge for Sasuke, Kakashi prepared to leave. "Is there anything else you need, Sasuke?" Sasuke shook his head. He seemed so tired. "I think I'm gonna crash," Sasuke said. Kakashi nodded. "Well, if you need anything, for any reason, I put my number in your contacts. Please, don't hesitate to reach out if you do. Don't forget about how strong you are, okay?" Sasuke nodded in response. Kakashi then spoke. "And about the team. If you don't want to come back, I won't force you to. I'll respect your decision. However, I do want to let you know that me, Sakura, and Naruto all care for you. Sometimes the worst thing we can do in a situation like this is cut ourselves off from our friends. But anyway, regardless of what you decide, I will always be here for you. Whatever you choose, know that I care about you, and I'll be here for you no matter what." Sasuke let off a slight smile. From there, Kakashi let him rest. It was quite late when he got home, but Naruto was up regardless. Naruto stood and ran over to him. "How'd it go? Is he coming back?" Naruto asked. Kakashi shrugged. "I don't know. Sasuke's in a tough point in his life. He'll have to make that decision himself." From there, they went to bed. They had a big day planned. Another mission. The next day, they set out early and met up with Sakura. Sakura was a bit disappointed to see that Sasuke wasn't there. "Sasuke needs time to figure some things out. The best we can do is be there for him. Maybe he'll leave the team, but maybe one day he'll come back. I guess we'll just have to wait and see," Kakashi said. "Maybe that day's today," Naruto said. He raised his finger and pointed. Kakashi turned around to see Sasuke standing there with a soft smile on his face. Kakashi smiled upon seeing him there. "We're glad to have you back, Sasuke." Sasuke's smile turned into a grin. "It's good to be back, Kakashi-sensei." Kakashi stood under the hot sun. The ultraviolet rays today were ultra-violent. Looking to his side, he saw the shade of a tree beside him. Feeling like he was about to have the most embarrassing sunburn shape on his face, he decided to step into it. Despite that, he watched as his team continued to clean up the garbage. They raced, they turned it into a game, and thankfully, this time, Sasuke had joined in. This brought a smile to Kakashi's face. Sasuke was doing it. He was healing. He had made that decision not to close off, and because of that, the wounds on his heart were at the very least being salved by the joy of friends. The more that Kakashi stood there, the more he began to feel like this was a family. He had family in these children, little brothers and a little sister. Looking at Sakura, he saw how joyous she was. There was no trauma in her story, and for that, he was glad. He didn't know if he could handle doing this again. If anything, her having a good life actually helped Kakashi out, as she was very attentive. She was surrounded by people who had trauma, and despite not having any herself, she was understanding. Sometimes they said that a person who's never experienced trauma should never say, "I understand," because they couldn't. And indeed, that was true. The worst thing you could do was trivialize someone's pain. But this didn't mean you couldn't try to understand. Sometimes the desire to understand was as good as understanding itself. An admission of ignorance to a face through regret was a word from the heart that told those around them that how they felt was valid, but that it did hurt that they couldn't help. That open heart, that desire to know and care, that was one of the most important parts of helping someone else out. Sakura had always said she wished to be a doctor when she grew up, and now Kakashi knew she would be a perfect one, because her care did not stop at the skin, but continued deep into her heart. She tried to salve all wounds, even the ones unseen and untouchable. And sometimes that's all anyone ever really needed. Just to know that someone cares enough to try. Cares enough to sit still and listen. Not always trying to solve it, but letting that person vent as long as they want it. Sakura had a heart that opened to all, and that was what made her great. And Naruto, where Sakura failed and couldn't help, Naruto could. The longer he thought about it, Kakashi began to question it. Did Hiruzen just assign us all to group therapy? If the old buzzard had, then maybe it displayed a hidden wisdom. Kakashi had always liked to think he was a wise man. It may not have been humble, no, but Kakashi always did think that he himself had wisdom. But whatever wisdom Kakashi possessed paled in comparison to Hiruzen. While Hiruzen might not have been a very effective Hokage, he was an effective man when it came to the matters of the heart. And for that reason, he could forgive his mistakes. This team had been together for a good few weeks, and as it stood, everything proceeding perfectly. After having attempted the bell test a second time, the team worked perfectly, to the point Kakashi actually had to try to keep the bells away from them, and that said a lot about their potential. With this, Kakashi had a surprise for them. As the day came to a close and the group emptied their trash bags for the final time, Kakashi called them to him. "Listen up, team. I just wanted to tell you how impressed I am with your work. And because of how much you've grown, I've got a surprise for you." Each of the students seemed to be excited as to what Kakashi might say next, especially Naruto. "Tomorrow, we're going to be getting our first out-of-village mission." Naruto seemed to celebrate already, not even knowing what the mission was. "Tomorrow, we're going to be guiding a man back to his village," Kakashi said. "Bandits are a possibility, which is why we've been hired to protect him." Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura understood, and so they all proceeded home. Naruto and Kakashi reached their now shared apartment. There, they began to pack their bags. Naruto was so excited that he was packing everything he thought he might need. Clothes, toilet paper, rations, water, a gaming console, cash. He was writing a list of things on a piece of paper to ensure he had everything packed up and didn't forget anything. He was so excited that he even added the list itself to the list and folded it neatly before placing it in a bag. "All right, our first mission. I'm so excited," he said. Kakashi watched Naruto bouncing around. He truly was a rowdy young man. It was so common for young shinobi to become excited about going to perform a mission like this. It was better than the other option. In some cases, shinobi feared leaving the village for a mission, which was valid. Generally, those shinobi were pessimists who already believed they might not come back. This made Kakashi wonder if such a feeling was good for a shinobi, to be afraid of what could go wrong during every mission. Kakashi had seen successful shinobi who were like that, but it was hardly an easy life for them. He was just glad that Naruto was not like that, because he wasn't sure how to handle it other than trying to reassure him that it would be okay. The next day, they rose bright and early. After having a rather large breakfast, the two began to leave for the gate where they would meet up with the rest of their team and their charge. There, they saw a man. He had rather spiky hair, a bandana of some sort wrapped around his forehead, and a large scar on his chin. "You must be Mr. Kakashi Hatake. The third Hokage Hiruzen told me all about you. I'm very impressed. It's a pleasure to meet you, he said, extending his hand. Kakashi took it and shook it. The pleasure is mine, he said. Looking back, he spoke. This is my young charge, Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto, this man's name is Kaiza. He's from the Land of Waves. He was here on a very important business trip for his father-in-law to gather supplies to repair the bridge in his village. He requested our assistance to protect him as he heads back home. Naruto shook the man's hand. I'm pleased to meet you, Mr. Kaiza. The man shook Naruto's hand. Such a well-mannered young man. Your teacher must be proud. I am indeed, Kakashi said. At about that time, Sakura showed up, and Kakashi introduced her to the object of their mission. As they stood there, Kakashi looked around. Where's Sasuke? He asked. Waiting a bit longer, he pulled out his phone. I hope he didn't forget. But just as he started to dial Sasuke's number, Naruto tugged on Kakashi's sleeve. There he is! Sasuke was walking down the road toward them. Upon getting to them, Kakashi spoke. You know, it's quite rude to make our client wait, he said. Sasuke looked like 40 miles a bad road. You okay? Kakashi asked. Sasuke nodded. I just didn't sleep well last night. Kakashi nodded. Sorry to hear that. As he looked at the boy, he began to think. Did he really relapse? He seemed so happy yesterday. Are you fit to go on this mission? Kakashi asked. If not, there's no shame. It's best to speak up now before we go, else you might slow us down if you can't. I'm fine to go. There's no need to worry, Sasuke said. Kakashi decided to trust his student and hoped that he knew his limits. Then let's go. The trio began to guide Kaiza back to his home village. For a time they walked, stopping off only to sleep. There, Kakashi kept his guard. He watched his students rest and saw that they were all sleeping well, even Sasuke. Maybe it was just a set of nightmares he had last night. That's probably it, he thought. But as the morning came, Kakashi began waking the group up. Sasuke was a bit harder to wake. He managed to get him up, but somehow Sasuke seemed even worse for wear than before. It was almost as if he wasn't sleeping at all. Something wasn't right, and Kakashi's sixth sense was tingling about it, but he didn't press it. So far, there hadn't been any issues. Likely, if there were any bandits, simply seeing 4 shinobi was enough to keep them away. Whatever it was, they would likely be at the Land of Waves by the end of the day, and there they could probably rest. Then was simply the return trip, and they could all take a week off if need be. Regardless, they began to move. There it is, the Land of Waves, Kaiza said. The village had really grown since the formation of this bridge. There had been a time when organized crime ruled this town, but with Kaiza's help, they had overthrown that corruption, and had led to Kaiza being installed as a leading member of the village council. Since then, they had been so profitable in their work that the village had grown to become quite a bit more extravagant. It was beautiful, all things considered, and Kakashi thought it might do them good to stay in the village for a day to enjoy all it had to offer. Looking back at his team, he spoke. What do you guys say we go out on the town tonight? Maybe I can even spring to get you 3 each a souvenir. Naruto and Sakura seemed to react to Kakashi's words with excitement, but Sasuke was silent. Sasuke, what about you? Kakashi asked, trying to get his attention. Sasuke ran his hand through his hair for a moment and then stopped. He displayed a grimace. Kakashi caught sight of it. Sasuke? The whole group looked back at him. Are you okay? Kakashi asked. It hurts, Sasuke said. At that point, he fell to his knees and collapsed. Sasuke! Kakashi shouted. The entire team was mortified, Kaiza included, who was one of the first to Sasuke's side. Checking him over, Kaiza spoke. He has a fever. Kakashi was confused. Had Sasuke been sick this whole time? Kakashi walked over and picked Sasuke up. We need a place to rest, he said. You can stay at my house tonight. We'll call a doctor for him. Thank you. This means a lot to me, he told Kaiza. With a hint of worry still in his eyes, Kaiza offered a smile. It's okay. It's the least I can do. Leading them to his house, he stepped in. At about this time, Tsunami, the wife of Kaiza, was making her way over with concern on her face. Oh dear, poor thing looks very sick. What happened? She asked. Not sure. He may have been fighting a fever for a while. He just collapsed. We needed to get him somewhere safe, quickly. I hope you don't mind, my love, he said. It's okay. I want to do whatever I can to help him. Would you mind calling Dr. Nisuke? Tsunami nodded as she went for the phone. Kakashi brought Sasuke to the guest room where he laid him out on the bed. Is he gonna be all right? Inari asked. Kakashi looked over. I'm sure he will be. Now go run off. I don't know if he's contagious and I don't want you getting sick too. Inari nodded and left. After some time passed, the doctor came over to check up on Sasuke. Looking him over, he knew it was a form of infection, but he couldn't place it. I can run more tests on him, but it'll take more time. How much time? Kakashi asked. Probably about a week or so. Things work slowly in this village, despite the look of fortune. I don't know if we can stay that long. The doctor seemed to nod. I can prescribe some antibiotics. That should help him deal with some of the symptoms. But when you get back to your village, I highly recommend getting some blood work done to ensure he's still okay. Kakashi nodded. After the doctor left, Kakashi sat down by Sasuke. Sasuke looked up at Kakashi weakly. I'm sorry, master, he said. Why did you hide this? You could have died. Sasuke shook his head. I wanted to come too. I didn't want to disappoint you. I know it was dangerous, but I didn't want to be left behind. Kakashi had a hard time being upset at Sasuke. After all, it seemed as though Sasuke also seemed to view his team as a family now, which was good. After so much suffering, he finally had decided to give them a chance, and had opened his heart to them. It's okay, just try to rest. We'll be heading back to Konoha soon, and you'll go to the doctor for a checkup, okay? Leaving the room so Sasuke could sleep, he was met by Naruto, who was standing outside of the door. Is everything alright? Naruto asked with concern on his face. Kakashi smiled. Sasuke's okay. He just caught the flu or something. He'll be back up again in a couple days. The next day, they prepared to leave the village. Naruto volunteered to carry Kakashi's bag, while Sakura volunteered to carry Sasuke's. The reason that they did this was because Kakashi was going to carry Sasuke piggyback style all the way to Konoha. Try to rest, Sasuke. We'll be back at Konoha likely by tomorrow afternoon. Sasuke nodded slowly. He rested as they walked. Nobody said anything, but everyone was nervous for Sasuke. He seemed sick, bad, and nobody knew why. They walked all through the day, taking time to stop every so often to cool off Sasuke's fever and give him his next dose of antibiotics. They kept going, taking time to sleep as well. Eventually, making it back to Konoha, Kakashi discharged his team and let them go their own separate way. Carrying Sasuke to the doctor's office, they proceeded to check him over, but their conclusions were the same as Dr. Nisuke's. They did not know why he was sick and decided to take some blood, which Sasuke very much did not like. But being the trooper he was, he didn't fight back, nor did he make any sounds. He simply looked away. They said that they'd likely be able to have an answer back in a couple days, and told Sasuke to simply stay on his meds the way that he'd been told by the previous doctor, and to get lots of bed rest. And so, Kakashi took Sasuke back to the boy's apartment to rest. There, he lay him down. Are you going to be okay on your own? Kakashi asked. Sasuke nodded. I think after a nap, I can probably get up and get something to eat. Would you like me to prepare some meals that are easy to put together? Sasuke nodded. And so Kakashi began to cook up a couple cans of soup. Soups were the best food for when you were sick, especially if they had chicken in them. Once he'd finished, he looked back. I have it in the fridge. Just hit it with the microwave when you're ready to eat, okay? Sasuke nodded. Kakashi turned off the light. I'll be by to check on you tomorrow. And with that, Kakashi left. Walking out, he couldn't help but worry for Sasuke. It was unusual how sick he really had gotten. Whatever illness he contracted, it was completely wiping him out. He stopped by the Hokage's office to talk with Hiruzen. There, he reported that the mission was successful, much to Hiruzen's joy. However, as the Kage sat there, he sensed that Kakashi was troubled. Are you okay? He asked him. Kakashi nodded. Yeah, I'm just worried. Why? Hiruzen asked. Well, when we went out on mission, Sasuke wasn't himself. By the time we got to the land of waves, he collapsed from exhaustion. We called a doctor and they said he was fighting some sort of infection. I brought him back here to be tested, but they don't know what's wrong yet. I see, Hiruzen said. I can't help but feel worried. Even though I know it's probably just a bad case of the flu, I can't take my mind off of him. I doubt I'm going to be able to sleep tonight. Hiruzen began to smile again. Kakashi looked up questioningly. Hiruzen then spoke. You don't yet understand just how proud of you I am. What do you mean? Kakashi asked. Hiruzen spoke. You've more than become a mentor to these children. You've turned them into a real family. You care for Sasuke like a father does, and the way you've cared for Naruto, you basically raised him. You're everything Minato could have dreamed for. Kakashi questioned. Hiruzen nodded. When Minato passed away, it was his wish that Naruto be taken care of and respected by the village. Sadly, I failed to provide half of that wish. However, I could not have made a better choice to care for his son than his own student. You may be shaped into a weapon by this village under my command, but your heart is as true and as golden as it ever has been. I could be no more proud of you than I am. Kakashi sighed and smiled. Thank you, Lord Third. That means a lot to me. After their meeting, Kakashi returned home to spend some time with Naruto. Sasuke, on the other hand, was still in his home asleep. He had some kooky dreams. Fever dreams were the best description because that's what they were, but by 8 p.m. he woke up. He was starting to feel even worse and he didn't know why. His head was aching. It felt like his brain was boiling in his skull. "Maybe I just need something to eat," he said. He heated up some soup and ate it at the bar. After that, he began to feel a little energy return, so he decided to take a quick shower to wash the stench of outside off of him. Brushing his teeth, he went to rinse, but as he did so, he was overcome with a sudden pain. Gah! He let out a cry as he reached for his head. He almost fell to his knees. He took a moment to breathe, but suddenly the pain returned in full force. Falling back, Sasuke gripped at his skull, crying out in agony. It was as though his brain was trying to crawl out of his head, like his eyes were about to explode, like his eardrums were about to rip apart and spill out the contents of his head onto the floor. The pain was so great that he actually began to cry. Eventually, the pain subsided though. Hardly able to think straight, he began to rise to his feet again. Peering into the mirror, he noticed something. His eyes were different. They were Rinnegan. Sasuke drew closer to the mirror to examine them. How? He questioned as he looked at them. It was at about this time that he noticed a shadow outside of his window. The sound of broken glass echoed through the apartment. Kakashi laid there on the pull-out couch, looking up at the ceiling. Turning to look at the clock, it said 3 a.m. Normally, he was long gone by now, dead to the world. Naruto currently was, but Kakashi was wide awake. He couldn't stop thinking about Sasuke, wondering if he'd eaten anything since he left, wondering if he were even still alive. Perhaps his mind was just rushing due to the attachment he'd developed for the boy, but all the same, he couldn't help but worry. A part of him wished he were staying with him tonight, if only to make sure he was okay. Kakashi rose from his bed and rubbed his face. Looking around at the dark of night, he knew he would not be able to sleep, so he climbed out of bed, grabbed his gear, and prepared to leave the apartment. He stopped for a moment to look in at Naruto, who was sound asleep. Kakashi would grab his keys and head toward the door. Unlocking it, he stepped out quietly before turning around and locking it again. As he walked outside, he saw rain. The skies had opened up, and now it was raining. The flashing of lights and the sound of thunder tearing across the sky. This was the perfect weather for sleeping, but not tonight. One might say he was getting too attached to his apprentices, but he couldn't help it. With everything they'd been through, he couldn't not care. Foregoing the umbrella, Kakashi simply walked through the rain towards Sasuke's house. Upon getting there, he pulled out the keys. Sliding them into the door, he twisted the keys until he heard the latch click. Opening the door up, he stepped into darkness. Closing the door behind him, he could see Sasuke's bed from here. It was empty. Looking into the dark bathroom for a moment, he didn't see anyone in there. Walking into the living room, he called out, "Sasuke?" There was no answer. He walked a little deeper. It was then that he saw the busted window. Walking to it, he began to panic. Stepping out into it, he called out, "Sasuke!" From behind him, a black shadow with red piercing eyes appeared. "It's no use," a dark voice spoke. "He's not here." Kakashi looked back and saw it. In a moment, he was on the figure, throwing him against the wall. The figure struggled and managed to push Kakashi back. Kakashi attempted to get to the figure again, but the figure grabbed the bedside lamp and attempted to smash it against Kakashi's skull. Kakashi raised an arm quickly enough to catch it. Striking at the figure again, he felt his knuckles hit teeth, causing the head of whoever was there to smash against the wall. Soon after, Kakashi hit him with a right hook, putting the intruder on the floor. Stepping over him, he went to the light switch and flipped it. As soon as he did so, he saw a man laying there, trying to shake off the strikes and wiping the blood from his lip with his black and crimson cloak. "Itachi!" Kakashi said. Lifting him up by the collar, he threw Itachi onto the bed and prepared to choke him out. "What did you do with Sasuke?" he demanded. Obviously tired of this, Itachi gripped Kakashi's wrist and wrapped his legs around it in a fashion that reminded Kakashi of Sasuke. He then rolled Kakashi off of him and assumed control of the situation. "Enough," Itachi said. "I came to figure out where he was too." "Afraid that someone's gonna steal what's yours?" Kakashi demanded, his tone spitting bile and judgment upon the murderer. "Perhaps," Itachi said. "Regardless of my motives, my brother's missing, and I'm searching for him as well." Kakashi seemed to slowly stop resisting, causing Itachi to ease up, letting Kakashi sit. "So you're searching for Sasuke too," Kakashi said. Itachi nodded. "My brother has gone missing, and that disturbs me. If you didn't take him, then who did?" Kakashi asked. "I can't be certain. I have my suspicions, but I don't know for sure. I've sent my crows out to ascertain the truth, but they've yet to return." "You have suspects?" Kakashi asked. Itachi nodded. "A few, but I won't know for sure until my crows return." Kakashi sat up. "I don't know what your game is, but I won't let you hurt Sasuke under any circumstances." Itachi simply said nothing. Standing, he walked to the window. "How has Sasuke been?" he asked. "Like you care at all. He's been a wreck ever since what you did to him that night, what you did to your clan." "Has he become a good shinobi?" Itachi asked. "He's barely able to become a shinobi at all. He's been struggling with the baggage you put on him. I don't know what your ploy was that night, to awaken the monk Gekyo or something. All you succeeded in doing was ruining his life. I can never forgive you for that." Itachi looked over his shoulder for a moment. "What makes you think I want your forgiveness?" Itachi asked. "I guess remorse is something too hard to expect from a reprobate like yourself." Itachi remained silent. It was then that a crow returned. Itachi took it and looked into its eyes with his Sharingan. "It's Sasuke. He's not too far from here." Kakashi rose from the bed. Itachi looked back. "Can you swallow your rage long enough for one last mission together? Just long enough to rescue Sasuke. After that, your goose is cooked." Together, the two rushed out into the rain again. Itachi led Kakashi to a location beyond the trees, beyond Hokage Rock. Together, they slipped into the darkness, entering what seemed to be an abandoned military site that wasn't so abandoned. "This is an old root base. You know about it?" Itachi asked. Kakashi nodded. "I spent a little time en route. That was until the head of it asked me to assassinate the Hokage. After that, the group was shut down." "You would like to think so." "No, it's still going, just behind the scenes." Together, they snuck deeper, moving past the guards. The deeper they went, the more narrow the pathways. By that time, the two root agents guarding this particular door had no way of knowing what was coming next. Within a moment, Kakashi and Itachi appeared behind them and put them to sleep. Opening the door, they stepped in and saw Sasuke chained to the walls, barely off the floor by his knees, dangling by his arms. He was not in good shape. "Sasuke," Kakashi said as he rushed to Sasuke's side. Pulling his chin up, he could tell something was wrong. "Are you okay?" "Master, my eyes, it's so dark." Kakashi could see that Sasuke's eyes were gone. "What happened to you?" Kakashi asked. "My sickness. It was caused from the awakening of the Rinnegan." "The Rinnegan?" Kakashi questioned. "How is that possible?" It was then that another voice spoke. "It was possible because I made it so." Danzo Shimura stepped in, flanked by a few guards. "Well, what do we have here? 2 traitors to the leaf?" "What did you do to Sasuke?" Kakashi demanded. "I did what was required. You see, we came to realize something not long ago. Well after the Uchiha were massacred, we came into contact with the Uchiha Stone Tablet, a hidden monument that they did not want us to see. It said that it was possible to create the Rinnegan by mixing the power of the Sage of Six Paths' reincarnated sons together. Through our studies, we managed to identify at least one pair, Hashirama Senju and Madara Uchiha. Thanks to our cutting-edge science, we managed to detail what their chakra signatures were. Hashirama was easy, but Madara, not so much. However, thanks to some experiments that Lord Second did after Madara's passing, we managed to get a sample of his DNA. With it, we cracked the entire sequence. Since then, we've been searching through DNA and chakra samples for those who could match our databases. And wouldn't you know, Sasuke Uchiha, the last Uchiha, just so happened to ping. And so, mixed into his vaccinations, we included Hashirama Senju's cells. And as it appears, our efforts to create the last possible Rinnegan since the extinguishing of the Uchiha clan have been a success. As a treasure of the leaf, they have been reclaimed for future generations. A tool to ensure Konoha remains the strongest village in the world." Kakashi was appalled. "I knew you were a total basket case, but I didn't know you were this bad," Kakashi said. "You would be surprised," Itachi said. Who said that?" Sasuke asked. Itachi looked at Kakashi and shook his head. They continued to focus on Danzo and his agents. Danzo smiled. "Now we're finished with him. Finished with all of you. But before you go, we'll need you to serve Konoha one final time. Word cannot spread of what we're doing here, and so you two must be destroyed." Danzo pressed his hand forward. "Kill them." From there, the best agents the Anbu had, a professional kill squad, moved to attack them. Kakashi, readying himself for the worst, lifted his sash off of his Sharingan and pulled a kunai out. Itachi pulled out a katana and stepped forward. In this moment, Kakashi returned to his old self, remembering the monster he used to be. Looking back, he was glad that Sasuke could not see right now, as what he was about to do was going to be terrifying. Kakashi dodged into an attack and dragged his kunai across his opponent's throat. As the second one came in, he used Kamui to literally teleport his head clean off. "Your special assassination squad's disappointing," Kakashi said as he continued. I guess they're only good for killing you if your back is turned. All the while, Itachi stood there, no stance, no anything. He had simply set his blade afire with Amaterasu. With each attack that connected to the enemy, they were set up in a blaze of fire. The others nearby, he began casting Tsukiyomi on to force them to relive their worst fears, over and over again on loop. They screamed and fell to the ground, their minds shattered under their own weight. Suddenly, Itachi's Susanoo appeared and skewered many of the shinobi with the blade of Totsuka. All those pierced were drawn in. The remaining members of the assassination squad were quickly polished off. Danzo turned to run. Itachi looked back at Kakashi. Free Sasuke and get him out. I'll meet up with you soon. Kakashi nodded and cut Sasuke free. Putting him upon his shoulders, he began to carry him out. Itachi went the other direction, chasing after Danzo. There was something burning in his eyes, and it wasn't Amaterasu. You betrayed our deal, he said. Now come back here and pay the piper. Kakashi watched as Itachi chased him, electing to go the other direction, back toward the entrance. During this time, he ran into many root agents, each one coming to attack Kakashi. Carrying Sasuke, he could hardly do anything about it, so he only had one option. He began to spam Kamui. The agents screamed as limbs and entire parts of their body were torn off by the ocular space-time jutsu. Anyone Kakashi looked at almost seemed to implode upon themselves. Kakashi had never truly realized how terrifying this technique was until he was using it. Reaching the ladder, he told Sasuke to hold on tight. He began to climb. Once he was outside, he found a place to hide. The rain still fell, but they were safe from it. Looking Sasuke over, Kakashi spoke. Are you all right? Sasuke was silent for a moment. Sasuke, Kakashi asked. That was Itachi in there, wasn't it? Kakashi didn't want to answer. A few moments passed. Kakashi finally acknowledged it. Yes. Sasuke began to shiver, but not from the cold. Is he gonna kill me? Kakashi shook his head. I wouldn't let him. Is he here to steal my eyes? I don't know, Kakashi said. Regardless of what he's here for, I won't let him hurt you, okay? Promise? Kakashi nodded. Cross my heart. They waited there for quite some time. Suddenly, the hatch opened. Kakashi got into a defensive stance. Out of it came Itachi, however. Despite this, Kakashi's defensive stance did not change. Standing there on the hill above Kakashi, Itachi held out his hand. Within them were two Rinnegan eyes. Kakashi was confused. Itachi pushed forward. Take them. Kakashi stepped forward. Why? Why don't you take them for yourself? Itachi was silent for a moment. Because they don't belong to me. Itachi? Sasuke called out. Itachi looked over to his brother. He turned away for a moment and prepared to leave, his mission accomplished. But Sasuke then spoke again. Please, Itachi. Wait. Itachi turned back and looked at him. Yes? Why did you do this? He asked. Why did you rescue me? Why did you spare me? Even with these Rinnegan, am I still not worth killing? Itachi took a deep breath and let it out as a sigh. Looking back at the hatch, knowing that man would never bother them again, he spoke. I never did want to kill you to begin with. Itachi began to explain everything to Sasuke. That man, he forced my hand. He said it would happen anyway, and if I wasn't the one to do it, he'd kill you as well. The only way I could save you was by doing what he commanded. Tears ran down his cheeks. Why did nobody say anything? There was nothing they could say, not without incurring the wrath of the village, not without starting a civil war. I knew these things, so I specifically asked to keep them secret, and in return, I would help the village from outside. Sasuke couldn't believe it. Was this Hiruzen's fault? Itachi shook his head. No. Danzo moved against Hiruzen's wishes, and then was retired and put under house arrest. Despite that, it didn't seem to stop him. Hiruzen should have executed him, Sasuke said. Itachi nodded. Perhaps, but Hiruzen has always been lenient. He seeks to preserve life. He's an odd case of a pacifist holding the office of a warrior. In a way, I guess he's like I was. But in the end, Hiruzen did what he could, and so did I. Sasuke held his head in his hands. He wasn't sure what to think of it, what to do. Itachi knelt down. Sasuke, I know what I've done to you. I can never ask anything of you, but I want to say sometimes we have to bear a heavy burden, even if we don't want to. Mine was what I did, and yours must be letting go of the hatred that it instills in you. Konoha is a village with flaws, but it's still a good village, and it can only get better with the right leadership. It needs you, Sasuke. So if there's only one thing I can ever ask of you, let it be this. Let go of your pain, and remember your blessings. This is the village where your friends live, where Kakashi lives. The current generation will not last forever, so just let go. I killed the men responsible for our clan's destruction. Let it go." Itachi then stood. Looking back at Kakashi, he spoke. "Take care of him." Kakashi nodded, and with that, Itachi was gone. A couple days later, Naruto and Sakura were allowed to visit Sasuke in the hospital. Bringing flowers and chocolates and all the other cliché things that you'd expect from children, they entered the room. "Sasuke?" they asked. He didn't respond. "He's had a hard few days," Kakashi said. "He's deep in thought. It might be best to leave him be." Naruto looked to Kakashi and then back to Sasuke. Walking over, he put the box of chocolate on the bed. "I know what it's like to be confused, Sasuke, to feel anger welling up in you. If you ever need to talk, I'm here." And in that moment, Sasuke turned to look at Naruto, his ringed lavender eyes filled with kindness and joy. "Thank you, Naruto." Naruto smiled, as did Kakashi. And as Kakashi watched on, he got the sense that everything was going to be okay. There was a light in Sasuke's eyes that had not been there in quite some time, and that light was hope. Their little family would recover and walk out of this stronger than ever. Of that, Kakashi had no doubt. And that's where I'm going to tack on a fin. This story needed to reach a good conclusion, and I feel as though it has. The battles that are the hardest to fight are the ones inside of us that nobody can see, and on some occasions, through anger or pride, all we can do is make such battles harder for others. This is why empathy is so important. You never know what someone is going through. You never really know the whole story until someone tells it to you, and when they do, it could change your entire stance on a situation. I guess Sasuke experienced that today. But what about you? What are your thoughts on this? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to remember to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified when more videos like this drop. And here's some other videos I think you might enjoy in the meantime. Anyway, until next time, peace out.